I think David Draymond is Jewish, though.
Oh, is he?
I think so.
Oh, okay. Who's he? Is he the singer?
Singer,
in the band?
yeah,
okay. Yeah. So
think
that would make sense why he can do that thing, because all the Hebrew we have to do with the
That's very
kai.
funny.
Yeah, right. Maybe that is it. Maybe that's where he got it from.
Yeah.
You think at his bar mitzvah he sang from the fucking Torah like
Sorry.
like over
Shalom aleichem.
the rabbi's like, calm down, dude. You're over singing.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm down with the Jewishness.
You're not quite a man yet.
Yeah, right.
Indianapolis, John Dick and Cheese.
Welcome back, Stamp Tramps, to Attempted Delivery. And today with us, we welcome back to the podcast, globe-trotting comedian, Elliott Gottloeb.
Part of the globe, yeah.
Welcome
how's it
back.
going? Thanks,
Welcome back.
man.
Part of the Globetrotters.
Yeah. Or just part of the globe, like just one hemisphere, not all of it. Yeah. Working on the other half. So.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. That's good to be back.
Soon to be in the Eastern Hemisphere.
That's right.
Is it the right hemisphere? That was a fucking gamble right there.
I don't know. Well, it depends on which side of the Greenwich line, I guess, right? Because isn't the Greenwich mean?
I know what that is.
You know that, yeah. So I guess it depends on which side. Because I think that's the divider for the
Where
East
is
and
that?
West. It's in England.
Okay.
Yeah. But I don't know. Yeah, I'll have to study up more on that. I probably should know that kind of stuff.
I guess.
But I wonder if they do that, like they treat people that on that side, like you're on the east side of the line, we're on the west side. There's probably our train tracks running through it too. So that's funny.
We don't mess with those east side bitches.
Exactly. From Essex? Yeah, screw you.
I can't do accents. I was going to try to do one, but I can't.
Well, Essex is where they do all those rhyming. You ever heard those rhyming, the rhyming slang?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, so I taught my students about this in cryptology. It's a code that they speak so that people don't understand what they're talking about. So like apples and pears are the stairs, or trouble and strife is your wife. And so because Essex had a lot of crime as well, so a lot of these guys would like speak in these rhymes, so that way if a cop was overhearing them,
They would have no idea what they're talking about.
Exactly,
That
yep.
sounds confusing.
It's confusing as can be, yeah. But it all rhymes. Everything they say is like, oh, I forget what the one for the baby is, but it's like fruit and loot or something like that. But and so what's crazy is when you watch English shows, you can tell like who's from Essex because they do it really well. They'll work it into the character. But it's like a southeastern part of London where these people are. Yeah.
So it became just like vernacular?
Yep.
That's
became
amazing.
Vernacular. Yeah, yeah. Bobby Ball was a comedian in England who did that. Like he did that really well, and so he would like whatever character they wrote for him, he would use that in the show because he was so good at it. But it's a whole code. It's really it's some kind of like cryptographic.
So weird.
It's bizarre.
It's really cool.
It's neat. Yeah.
That's cool history.
Yeah, right. Like and just that's how that came up. Like they're just trying to avoid the cops and didn't want other people listening in. So but just the fact that it has to rhyme. Yeah, like I forget what the.
You picture Italians learning a whole nother language. No fucking way.
Gabagool and Sfazul. This is taking too long. There's too many syllables in this.
So we're discussing England. I don't know if you want to make any. Are you saying anything about that yet? That.
Just for next week, I haven't booked any shows yet.
Cool.
I talked to somebody. So if anybody's looking for a cool comedian over there, Mags McHugh, she's a super nice lady. This is my little plug for her too. She was going to help me with some shows. Oh, sorry, should I turn that? Thank you. Yep. But she said, she's like, for the promoters, they use face. We know like last time I was on, I said like, oh, I thought everybody wanted clean stuff and then went to a club and they wanted really dirty stuff. She told me for this one, so I'm hoping this is correct. She's like, you need a Facebook page. Instagram is not how they're going to book you. And I was like, great. So now I have to go back to Facebook, which I haven't been on in like 9 years, 7 years.
Is this even still active?
Exactly. Right. Oh, mine's not. I know I shut mine down because I lost all the jokes that were with it. But I was like, screw it. I'm tired of arguing with people. And, and at that point, like I'd been, like you guys got me back on social media because I was like, oh, I have to have an Instagram to do anything unless you're Lennon free.
I mean, it's just easier. Yeah, unless you're Lennon free. That is correct.
Yeah.
How the hell does he get booked anyway?
He said it's just
He's just that good. He's in demand.
Doing long enough, so.
Yep, exactly. Everybody knows he's good, and so they just text him. He's like, yeah, I'll go to that show.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to be a little more proactive, but yeah. So now I got to start this Facebook. But I thought I was going to make it just say like Elliott Gottloeb's Facebook comedy booking page. it's just promo shots of me, and don't friend me. It's just watch it if you want to. You know, because it was like, can I send some YouTube clips? She's like, oh, they want to see Facebook. I was like, fine. I guess.
So you have to have them on Facebook?
Yeah, I guess so. Like I have to I don't know if I told you guys I did one of Dom Driscoll's baptism shows at the Church of Satire. And so I was putting that out, like the 9 minutes of that 10-minute show as a special, like as a joke, you know, just like that's my special. It's 9 minutes. Because I thought, especially like I don't watch specials because they take too long. So you know, like especially like I love Audrey's, but like sitting through her taping, I was like, I don't ever want to rewatch this. Like, hey, I've seen it, but also like this is so long. So I'm like part of the whole ADHD lack of attention now. But so anyway, so I got to put like some clips up there, I guess. So I was going to use that as my like calling card, like here's something. So or maybe I have 2 shows this weekend, so maybe use those as more of my thing. I think.
Nice.
So
unfortunately, this won't come out before then.
No,
so
that's
how do you
true.
think those shows went?
I think those shows went pretty well. So it was a clean show. So you know that's always a different audience, and they you know some of those people are really smart too. They try to step on your jokes. So because that happened the one time I said something and the person like yelled out my punchlines. Like I'm not Mitch Hedberg here. Like don't yell out my my lines. And how did you know that? But I guess it was pretty obvious. So.
Well, they must be smart.
They must be, yeah, or I'm
teacher.
so dumb that it was so obvious, which is probably more likely. I did, actually, you know, what's funny though is I was cleaning out my Mac today, and this would have been from when I was last on Facebook, my optometrist joke that we were talking about in the car. Do you know my optometrist joke?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I do actually.
So I found the original video of when I first thought of that joke from April 16th, 2016.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know that joke was that old. I was like, I
yeah.
thought I wrote that like 2 years ago. No, that's a very old joke. It should be way
it's just
funnier.
what you posted it online.
Yeah,
That's really funny.
I must have posted but I think I texted it to somebody who wasn't on Facebook, and I was like, hey, what do you think of this joke? Because I used to do like, you know, little clips back then, and so it's like, oh, okay, yeah. So wow, I didn't realize that should be way funnier for being a 9-year-old joke. And I can't believe I just rewrote it recently to make it, you know, like what I think is funnier and more in my voice. It's like, oh, I told that joke the same way for 8 years. Crap. So, and then I forgot it. Like I didn't put it in my sets until like a year ago. So I had forgotten I even wrote it. I think I found it in like a recording or something, and it wasn't even that. Like it must have been like a note or something like that in my phone. It's just like, oh.
Damn, what else do you have back there?
That's what I keep wondering. Like, I'm like, yeah, what's my backlog of jokes? And yeah, so there must be somewhere. There must be archives of this stuff.
Yeah, you might have a special.
Yeah, I might actually. I'm not saying it's gonna be good, but it might have it. So,
It'll be time.
It would be. Yeah, true. Yeah.
So you just did a bunch of traveling around the States, hitting mics and shows and stuff like that. What were the mics like in Vegas? You said you hit a few.
Yeah,
in Vegas.
So Vegas. It didn't even occur to me actually when I first went out. Like I was just going to go see the Dead at the Sphere, and I was like, oh, I should look up mics while I'm here. The mics in Vegas, I thought was the best balance I've ever seen.
Wow.
Because just to preview the next part of this, I went to Austin after it, and that is super saturated.
Sure.
Yeah.
Vegas was very, there were mics like at bars near each other. So like I went to one, and what was cool was like it was kind of an open form, like it was a variety show. So you could like there was a guy doing music there, somebody did poetry, somebody kind of did like a interpretive dance type thing, but a lot of it was comedy. And there were a couple other comics that came over and sat with me, and the one guy, Elijah, was like, hey, we're going over to this bar next door. I was like, next door? He's like, yeah, we can walk over to the next open mic. It's just next door. I was like, awesome. And I didn't realize people had been bopping in and out between the two. So like you could do that. So we went over there, and that was at a place called Quads, which I think is like a gay bar. And so what's weird is like, when the open mic's on, it's just comics in there, and then once the mic's over, that's when the actual patrons show up. Like nobody.
Okay.
But it was still like there were some people there, but it was like this is like a sports bar. And then afterwards, it's like, oh, I see. This turns into a much more flamboyant show after they're like, all right, the comics are gone now. We can do what we want to do. So, but yeah, so that was cool. And then talking to those people, Elijah and I can't remember the other guy's name. I feel bad. He's from Virginia. actually was the other comic I talked to who was great. They were like, well, we're going to another mic. I think it started, they're like, because like by this point it's like 9-10 o'clock. They're like, there's another mic that goes till like 1 a.m. at another bar. It's kind of in the dive section of town, but if you want to go to that, we're going to drive over there next. I was like, cool, I'll follow you over. Yeah. Went over there and did another set, and just everybody was super friendly.
That's cool.
Very
awesome.
like welcoming right away. Yeah, it was really nice. And like everybody I messaged was, I was like, hey, can I get on your show? They're like, yes, definitely. Whereas like sometimes you don't hear from people or they don't monitor things. This was, and the person who ran the first mic I went to wasn't even there. She was like in Pittsburgh doing her own tour, but she was like, yeah, I'll talk to whoever's running it for me, get them on or get you on there. So so that was cool. And then while I'm talking to these people after that show, then they're like, well, tomorrow night there's X, Y, and Z mics. And then the next night we got these and these. And if you want to stay for Friday, we got a secret show that we're doing, but you can get on. It's like, oh, cool.
That's
like,
awesome.
Yeah. It was really like so welcoming. And there's there's a girl who runs a lot of shows out there, Kay Banks, super nice woman. She was doing a show. I loved how she did this. Because we do like the 0 day. You guys have done the 0 day mic, which I just did last week. I was going to
ask you about that, actually. Yeah.
That was that. I did that that went really well.
Nice.
Yeah, Kaylin Clements and I were on that, and she did awesome as always. And yeah, I had a really good set. My business partner commented, he's like, that was a real roller coaster of a set. And I think that's what I'm getting into is like, I hit him with a dumb joke and then hit him with one I know will land. And then, and I think that's part of the fun now for me is like watching them not enjoy a joke, almost like bombing on purpose, but then hit them with one that I know they're going to like, so like,
we can actually use it to kind of like heighten a smarter joke or like a darker joke.
Yeah.
Because if you do some goofy ass shit, they're like, that's what you'd say?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah. Cause I did one joke and they were like, they kind of oohed. I was like, that wasn't even the dark one. Here's a dark one. I saw a sign for stump grinding. Can you believe the ADA got into strip clubs? Which is one of my favorite new jokes I wrote. And no, I'll tell you another one I wrote today. Actually, I wanted to run by you guys. How come my phone can go into dark mode every night, but I wear blackface one time?
Nice.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm still working on that, but I was like, I think that could be a good one, So, but anyway, so Kay Banks, what was cool about her feature mic, and nothing against Malik's 0 day thing, because I love the way he does it, but she would do feature comic and then 3 open mic comics. Okay. Feature comic, 3 open mics, and she'd give the feature people like 10 to 15 minutes, and then the open micers get like 3 to 4, or maybe it was 5. I forget how many people, but it was kind of cool. It was very much like 0 day because we were out by a fire pit.
Nice.
Yeah, like it was a very.
Was your 0 day show outside?
My 0 day show was inside this time, but I did that one outside. I think last October or 2 Octobers ago was when he did that.
Right.
Did some of those, and I love those. I think it was raining when we did our show last week, so that's why he had us inside. But I love those outdoor shows. That's a fun, especially because there's multiple fires. So I think that's when you featured that one that I was at, and I forget if you featured as well.
I remember that. Yeah,
I think I was just there hanging out.
That might have been it. Yeah,
or I did the mic after.
Yeah, I think you did. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but you were. I know you, Sean. I know you were featuring because Lori was there.
Yeah, she does not go to mics, so I
right. Yeah, she's sick of that. I don't blame her.
She does every once in a while, but usually not. Yeah. I ask her too. I'm like, "You want to go?" She's like, "No, I don't."
No. Oh, people trying stuff out. No.
To watch you do 3. The thing is, she would be perfect audience, but she just doesn't want to. Yeah. I'm the same way. I don't leave the house usually. You know what I mean?
I'm right there.
Very comfortable just sitting at home.
Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately.
And then, like you said, like to do like that is the crazy thing. We drive 40 minutes to do 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes. No. But it's networking, the hang. It's all part of it. So anyway, so Kay Banks, that show, she puts on shows like almost every night in Vegas, and so she was super welcoming, got me on that show. It was really nice for her. Like I was going to see a show at the Comedy Cellar because that was actually in my hotel, which was cool. And then so she got me on early enough so I could do that. And then I went to this dive bar. Elijah got me turned on to this so Elijah was like super like I think the other guy was like J-Ron, I think was his name, but Elijah was just like took me under his wing, like, you want to go to these places? Here's this dive bar mic at midnight. It starts at midnight. Yeah. And I don't think I went on till like 1:30, and I had to fly out at 6 the next morning to Red Rock. So I was just But he was like, it was an interesting room. It was really run down. It was, there's like slots in every, like in the bar, in every bar there, but he was like, the people there, it'll be packed. and they will not pay attention to you. If you can get their, he's like, they're not going to laugh, but if you can get their attention, you're doing all right.
Yeah.
And by the end of my set, I had most of their attention. So it's like, all right, that's something. And I got some laughs, which was cool. But so again, like every person who ran a mic super friendly, every person I ran into.
Yeah.
And it didn't seem cliquish. Like it was really like, cause I think everybody kind of moves around, does different stuff. And yeah, so that was, I will say like Vegas was probably one of the warmest and most welcoming environments. Like,
it's very funny.
Yeah, it is. And it's just, it was really nice. Cause I was like, I did not expect that. I just didn't know what to expect. You know?
Yeah, I was about to say I wouldn't know what to expect. The only thing I've heard of Vegas comedy is Stanhope, and he started. I mean, this was 35 years ago,
right?
But he was like, that's like the hardest place to start.
That's exactly what.
And he kind of just started on a dare.
Yeah.
So, but I'm sure over 30 plus years it's changed. So.
Yeah, like there's like an arts district there now, which may not have been there before, and that's where I went for the one. And you could like, that was another place where like people were doing feature sets across the street, and then they were coming over to do the open mic / feature thing. But they were very, very cool about people going back and forth. Like we get it. You know, people were still trying to be respectful. Like once they were done theirs, they came over and watched the other one.
Yeah.
But the fact that all that was right there, I don't think that had to be there when Stanhope was doing his thing. I would guess it was probably more like the Strip and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Which, can't be easy to get into. Like getting into the Comedy Cellar and stuff, especially because they rotate comics around the country. Like, I think like the more prominent places, it's got to be miserable.
Sure.
But
I imagine starting in I mean, you've heard people say that, so I don't know what it could be. I guess everybody's experience is different, but I think starting in a huge market like that has got to be, it's so saturated.
Yeah.
You get more mics and more, stuff like that, but there's also 5 times the amount of people.
Right. True.
Yeah.
Now,
What was the Sphere like?
Sphere was cool.
I actually wrote down because I didn't want to forget to ask about that.
Sphere was awesome.
You saw the Dead, Grateful Dead.
So Dead and Co there. So that was cool. Which I'm not a John Mayer fan, but it was cool to see. Like in that context, he was great. So Dead and Co is was it Mickey Kreitz? It's like part of the Grateful Dead. They do for the most part Dead songs. They did some covers, which the Dead would do.
Yeah.
But John Mayer kind of takes over Jerry Garcia's role. So Bob Weir is still in the band, and I think Phil Lesh was too, but obviously he passed away. And then was it Mickey Kreitzman? I think the one drummer.
I never got super into the Dead stuff.
That sounds actually pretty sick.
It's pretty cool. Well, like Oteil Burbage is a crazy bass player. He played with the Allman Brothers. He's their bass player. So I'm trying to remember. I feel like there was one other person from the Dead, but maybe it was just Mickey and Bob. Having Bob Weir involved is basically like that's half the Dead there in a way. But so the band was great. And again, I'm not a John Mayer fan, but in that context, he was awesome. As a guitar player, it was funny to note like he kept his pickup in the middle pickup the whole time.
The whole time?
The whole time. It was like, that's the least useful of the Strat pickups usually.
Yeah.
People don't, like, it's the least identifiable.
Yeah.
That was the one, he had 2 different of his Silver Sky PRSs. One was like a wraparound tailpiece. One was actually the Strat style bridge. And the Strat style bridge one, I noticed it was because it was in the middle. Just like, wow, that's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know if
was
he
he
had
trying to match like Jerry's tone or something like that?
That could
or is
be.
It like,
because Jerry had a bunch of weird stuff going on. And I noticed his was like kind of modded out because there was some kind of switching. Like his Strat plate was flat instead of recessed, and it had like some kind of weird switch on it. So I wonder if maybe it might be middle setting, but it actually does other things. And but he never moved it. It was always in that position. So
what did Jerry play? What guitar did he? I always.
He had a lot of custom builds. He did have a Strat he played at one point, but a lot of his guitars were custom built, like Tiger and there's Alligator. There were a whole bunch of them. But the crazy part about Jerry, I think this is like the woo-woo crystal craziness. It says on the Dead like vault information page, he would have his pickups changed every year. Because he felt like they were being demagnetized, and it sounds like he did way too many drugs.
Yeah,
like, what are you talking? Like the pickups are fine, but and I was like, also for a hippie, like how wasteful. Like every year, I gotta get new pickups in all 10 of these guitars.
I'm
like,
sure he gave them away.
He probably did, yeah. Or they, if they were smart, they're probably like, yeah, we just swap them between guitars. Yeah, we put all new ones in for you.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds great, man. Yeah.
Just like scuff them up so
exactly.
it looks different.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's
so
funny.
So he had
usually people keep the same fucking guitar forever because otherwise it would sound different.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but he was like, no, every tour we got to start. We got like, I need all new pickups, and it's like, yeah, but like the rest of the guitars getting aged. But who knows? Probably people are just like, I can't argue with this.
How does that
anymore.
work for electric guitars? Do they keep a sound like that, like because then like acoustic instruments for sure they have like a sound in them, and then like they age and they sound different, or they sound just like broken in or whatever. Because I know that with like string instruments that's big. Because I know Lori's Lori knows her friend, her daughter plays like stand up bass or whatever in like orchestras and shit, and they're like they've spent like mortgages on basses, and like they got this one that's like. I don't even know how much it was, but it was like 200 years old or some crazy shit like that, and it was like very expensive. But
more
like
than a car.
it was more than a house.
More than a house.
Yeah, it was like a gnarly. It might have been like 1,000 years old for as good as my memory is. I can't quite remember, but it was just like it
was Jesus's bass.
Fascinating. It was Jesus's bass. He played stand-up bass.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, then afterwards they repurposed the cross for the
That's right.
for the neck.
That's actually what he's carrying around was that upright bass, and then they made him fashion. Turn that into a cross and hang yourself from it now, man. He's just like, blessed are the cheesemakers. Boom, boom, boom. He was very much like Mitch Hedberg, actually. Like when Mitch would bring that bass player with him.
That's so funny.
Thank you. I'm glad. Yeah, that's a good bit.
He was on the road.
Yeah, that's a good. That would be a great sketch, actually. Yeah, if he was going around with like, Jesus, get moving. I got that bass. Come on, man. Like, let me. It's like drag. That's
what's the most annoying string instrument? Is there ever?
Oh man,
the lute.
Banjo.
Banjo. It would be banjo. Yeah.
Banjo.
That's what Judas played. Judas definitely played.
I was going to say Judas stole the 30 pieces of silver out of his guitar case.
That's right.
Because he's or out of the bass case.
Solid.
What? Are banjos wood ever?
They are.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a metal tone ring.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
that's what I'm. Yeah. Okay.
That's what gives it its projection, but the rest of it's wood. I mean, you got like the hooks and stuff. I know this because I just had my banjo repaired. But
the neck.
Yeah, the neck is all wood. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's mainly that metal tone ring that gives
Interesting.
it that sound. Yeah. Heavier basically the better. But
yeah.
I don't know why, but we were talking about pictures. Like, I don't know, before we started, and but that reminds me, like. At the shop where I used to work, we used to look on eBay a lot, like as I'm sure you made. And somebody was selling a resonator, like an old dobro or something like that. So like a metal guitar, like it's like shiny metal, essentially body. And we're like flipping through the pics, and in one of the pics, it's a metal guitar, so it's reflective. And dude was taking his pictures naked.
Yeah.
And unknowingly just put his dong right on the fucking internet, right on eBay.
That's incredible.
That's like that Nathan Felder. Have you ever seen that bit he did on?
So.
Oh, he did a bit on. I think it was Conan or something, where he took a picture of himself. And Instagram made him take it down. Like, that was the whole bit.
Yeah.
And he was wearing these glasses, but the glasses reflected that he was watching like old man, like a nude old man or something on his computer. Yeah. And then he kept like, so he like posted a "I'm sorry" picture, and he was wearing the glasses again, but he's in a car this time, and you could see the reflection of the old. Like it just became a running gag. That it's like that's pretty funny. It's kind of the same thing. Like and especially those like because I freak out anytime like any metal part of a guitar like I can see, or even just the finish. But for something like that to be like like especially an old National where the whole body's metal, it's basically a big mirror. Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, is that like that sounds like that would sound crazy, but I guess not. I guess electric guitars just aren't.
Oh, these are acoustic.
Oh, metal acoustic guitar.
Yeah, there are metal electrics too. But
it was pre-electric because it was like the big band era, and they had to be heard, so you couldn't hear just a regular.
So it was a whole metal body.
Yeah, some of them were. Yeah,
wild. I've never even
with.
I've seen like a steel
resonator. I guess that's what you call it.
Yeah, there's like a cone and a spider, and that's what projects. So it's almost like a speaker, but not.
Yeah,
and it kind of reflects the sound. But yeah, he's right. Like there was Dobro, which made wooden bodies, and then National actually made
that's what I meant.
Full on. Yeah. Like on the cover of that one Dire Straits album, that Brothers in Arms, it's a metal bodied guitar. So yeah, wooden necks still, but that would like really resonate.
Yeah,
but it is a very odd sound because it's it's so different.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then there are. Was it like Duesenberg makes and somebody else makes like metal electric guitars too.
Yeah, because I've seen like these, like maybe not that, but I've seen the wood with the steel like in the center.
Yes, exactly.
But I've never seen a whole metal body.
Yeah, so that's what that one is right there.
That's crazy. It looks like a fucking like what's the thing people steampunk guitar or something.
Steampunk before it existed because that's like 1930s.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. Yep, and they would do crazy like acid etchings in them. So some have like palm trees and stuff all over them. Yeah, it's pretty unique stuff.
Dude, some of these look fucking sweet. $2,000, $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000.
Yeah.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah. So what else were we talking? Oh, talking about Stanhope real quick. Did you guys see the Mitch Hedberg project that he just posted?
I've heard of it, but I haven't.
So Pickle, have you had Pickle on here yet?
Not yet.
Oh, you gotta get.
He's on the list.
Cool.
He's
Yeah,
on the
I
list
love
for sure.
Pickle.
We're planning
great.
on having him and Dom.
That's a good idea.
yeah.
Yeah, Master Blaster. Then you
Yeah.
just
Which I think thinking about it, we're gonna have to figure out something about the camera because I don't know if we can get everybody in frame. That'll be a very artsy episode.
that will be. Just have Pickle sit on Dom's lap, and you can.
That will work. That will work.
Yeah. But Pickle Monday night, shout out to him. He told me that Doug Stanhope posted on his YouTube channel. He has the original like master footage of the Mitch Hedberg project, like that. It was a pilot he pitched for MTV.
Oh shit! Okay.
And yeah, so I didn't finish it yet. I'm about halfway through it, but it's basically the real world Mitch Hedberg.
Yeah.
Like, so it's a lot of confessional stuff. There's some new jokes that like I've never heard before, but it's him and Lynn, his ex, his wife or widow or whatever, or fiance, and then this guy who calls himself like Possum Man or something like that, and then some MC. And I wanted to pick your brains on it, so you'll have to watch it. We'll have to talk about it later.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's on YouTube. You said
it's on YouTube. Yeah, if you go to Doug Stanhope's channel, or if you just type in like Mitch Hedberg Project, I think is what it is.
Okay.
The weird, so the Possum Man guy, I'm just befuddled by this because like he does this bit on stage. He goes up, he's like he acts like a possum, and then he'll do a couple jokes, and he tries to sell T-shirts afterwards. And they show you behind the scenes stuff. Like that's where it's very real world. Like it's like, because it's definitely that 90s MTV feel of the way it's all edited. And there's like a lot of like current, music for that time, like Rage and stuff like that. They're playing all that in the background.
Is this Stanhope's mullet era?
Stanhope's not in it. That's the crazy thing. At least not that I've seen yet.
Somebody had to film it.
Right?
Fair enough.
I wonder how he got a hold of it. But
you just see a trail like smoke from a cigarette. It's like, oh, Stanhope's filming all of this.
Everything's hazy.
Yeah.
But Mitch, like the weird thing about Mitch is this possum guy, he's like kind of not condescending, but he's very serious with him. He's like, you got to tell a couple jokes first before you get into that possum routine. It's not working.
Yeah.
And the possum guy's like, and you can tell like he's kind of offbeat, but like Mitch has kind of helped him out.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's like a bit for the show. This is what I want to get your opinion on. I feel like Possum Man is like Mitch Hedberg's alternate personality.
Okay.
And and for the show they make him look more serious. Like he does his silly jokes.
Yeah.
But he behind the scenes looks very like, I don't believe that drug addict Mitch Hedberg was like that serious, that like all on all the time.
Interesting. So it almost sounds like it's like a man. I'm really good at this. I'm good at podcasting.
You know all the words.
Yeah, I know all of the words. It's like a projection of like himself.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Like they created a character to play the other character. You know what I mean? The other half of his psyche or something.
Yes, exactly. Because it'd be too jarring if he was goofy but also disorganized. Yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah, you have to watch it. Let me know what you think. But that's my theory: is that Possum Man is like an extension of his personality, and they just created a character. Because also
to represent what he would be doing if he didn't
if he wasn't running the show. Yeah. Because Possum Man's just bizarre, and he looks really down and depressed a lot. And which I know, like if you watch those early interviews, like there's have you guys ever seen that YouTube interview with Mitch Hedberg? I think every time I'm on, I talk about Mitch Hedberg, but I mean, like
I don't remember that.
I'll have to send you guys. There's the very early interview with him with some like cable access channel or something like that, and they ask him about bombing, and he's like, "Oh, every night." He talks about a tour where he opened for somebody. He's like, "I bombed every night. It was awful."
Yeah.
He's like, "But like you have to get good."
Right.
He's like, "Now I don't care if I bomb, but I had to then."
Yeah.
Because I thought I'm gonna be awesome, and this like. I was just not doing anything, and this comic was like he's like, and then I realized he took me along basically to make him look good because I'm bombing, and then he looks hilarious, and people are ready for something different. But it's just interesting, like hearing that, like this Possum guy definitely like seems like he represents that part of his personality. Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know much about him outside of like what I've heard Stanhope talk about and other comics, and so I don't know about his like personal, like, but I do know he had like a lot of like anxiety and like stage anxiety and stuff. That heard stories about that like Comedy Central special where he like really blew up.
Yes.
it's edited down. Obviously, the Comedy Central stuff was edited down, but he like kind of lost it, just like went and like sat down.
I was going to say, is that the one where he sat down?
Yeah, just sat down and then like kind of like
heavily edited. Yeah, you're right. Because if you watch the unedited version, you're right. He sat down. He's like, well, this isn't going well. I'm just which is itself like so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the thing. So it doesn't match up with this personality on the show. So I wonder if like.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, definitely. It's only half hour. Like I said, like I've watched like half of it so far. It's great, and it's just great to hear new jokes from him that like never
really
heard
cool.
before. And it's cool that Stanhope did it. But yeah, so Pickle told me about that the other day because I was wearing a Mitch Hedberg shirt, and I was like, oh, thanks, man. So yeah, I always enjoy.
Yeah,
that
definitely have to check that out. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. So we were talking about something else, but like, so the Vegas thing. So can't recommend to anybody enough. Go to Vegas. Like, it was not what I thought it would be, and I wish I was going to spend all week there, but because I bought a one-way ticket out, but then I got confused about where Red Rocks is, and so I was like, and I saw Rilo Kiley was playing on there on a Wednesday.
How was
they
that?
were awesome.
Nice.
That was great to see them. The internet. I don't know if you guys go through this, like. So the thing I love about The Dead, which is what I loved about like when I was in a band, and I don't know, maybe you were the same way, we would do a different set every night. Like we're not playing all the time, but do a different set. Rilo Kiley, same set every night. Dead, like, or when they do a festival, it's less songs, but it's the same order.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like, but every show, so like, okay, they're going to do the acoustic version of this now. They're going to do, this is the encore.
Yeah.
No surprises whatsoever. Like even Radiohead, like when I saw Radiohead 4 nights on one tour, and halfway through the tour, they pulled out some songs, started doing different songs.
Interesting.
Each night they'd have like an A and a B set, but even that would still be modified slightly. But they would always have like, this is always going to be our encore A night, B night, or we do these 3 songs open, but then after that it might be a mix. So that was cool, but like that was my only disappointment. But that's the problem with the internet is like now you go to Setlist FM and be like, or you can see videos.
It's cool because it's like, oh, do I really feel like paying for these tickets? Do I feel like, what are they playing?
Yes.
Maybe I'll be like, all right, I need to see that.
Yes.
And but it sucks when like, I'm the only one here that likes Avenged Sevenfold, but
I've seen them actually.
Yeah, they're very good live. I went to see them in New Jersey.
Okay.
And then they came around again. They didn't do any close shows, which is infuriating. But the closest, New Jersey's not that far. I'm bitching for no reason. But the first one was in Jersey. South Jersey, near Phil, like right across the river.
Oh yeah, like Camden area. Yeah.
Yes, it was there.
Okay, like the waterfront or whatever. Yeah, Camden waterfront. Okay,
really nice place.
Great.
Then they came back on Easter Sunday, but it was like north, which they said was a mistake. They just booked the date, and it was like, oh, you booked us on fucking Easter.
Yeah, right.
But they went to North Jersey, and they played like. They have this song on, like, it's the last song on one of their albums. It's a 12-minute song.
Okay.
Well, they started fucking closing with that song, and I'm like, that's my favorite song.
Yeah.
And I'm never going to be able to see it live, because what are the odds? I mean, it's insane that they ever started doing it again.
Right.
It's from like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's crazy that they would reintroduce a 12-minute song in their set list to begin with.
Yeah.
And then I just saw them, and then this time they were near like New York, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm not gonna go. Like, God damn it.
So you didn't go?
I didn't go the second time.
See, that's why we went to see. So we saw Radiohead up in Montreal. We got tickets for both those shows, and then, or no, I guess maybe we got the Philly shows first, which was the end of the tour's last 2 nights. But the first 2 nights that we saw them in Montreal, great sets, but they didn't do. There was a B-side they were doing, like the one that they used in Romeo and Juliet. That's not even on the album. The DiCaprio version. It's the song Talk Show Host. Well, after we went to Montreal, I kept checking the set list, and I saw like the next week, that's when they started incorporating that B-side. I was like, well, now I'm really psyched for Philly, because one of those 2 nights they have to do that song, and then they added some other stuff. So so that is like, you're right. That's the upside of it, is at least you can see, are they going to do this or not? And is that worth the drive? But right. So where I got confused, somebody I met in Vegas told me, oh, Red Rocks Canyon is near here. And I was like, sweet. Let me see if there's any shows. Oh, Rilo Kiley's playing. It's like $30. I'll go. Book the ticket. I was like, Colorado? I thought I'm in Nevada. Oh, there's Red Rocks Canyon and Red Rocks Amphitheater, and Utah is in between those 2 places. So then I was like,
there's a state there.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. So they're 2 different Red Rocks, which I think is fair to get confused.
Yeah, it's a fair mistake.
Because
I wouldn't say that's your fault.
No, right? Especially not being from that area, because even people out there were like, yeah, that's a pretty common thing that happens. Like, okay, all right. So maybe they were just trying to make me feel better. But so since I only booked a one-way ticket to Vegas, I was like, oh, well, I'll fly into Red Rocks, do that show. So I rented a truck, drove to Red Rocks, drove back to the airport, fell asleep in the airport, And then that's when I was like while I was at Red Rocks, I was like, I'll go to Austin next. I've been to Denver. I don't need to stay. So then I went to Austin. So, I know what it was. We were talking about saturation.
Yeah.
Austin, on the other hand, that's where,
saturated.
like you were talking about, like open mics and stuff. Vegas, I would say, is the perfect balance. Austin, it's too much. It's just too many mics, like, because there's like 12 every night. There's mics that start at 2 in the afternoon.
That's pretty sick though. It sounds.
It was
If they have an audience, that's the dopest mic.
They did
of
not.
all time.
They did not. Yeah, it was the same, and it was funny. It was the same mics. We were all basically going to the same places. But I will say, and this is nothing against them. I met some great comics in Austin, but I will say Austin was much more cutthroat.
You think
it was very? Yeah, I can attest to that because. Even like I went up and like we'll rib each other occasionally, so did this joke. Yeah, the guy who went up after me just like was mauling one of my jokes. Yeah, which was ridiculous because it was the one where I won't go into this one because it's not one I would normally do, but it involves Adderall, and he was like he didn't know what Adderall was obviously because he's like I'll tell you guys after the podcast, but he was like this doesn't make sense. Only one person, blah blah blah, and I was like that's because I was on Adderall. And it makes you focus and he didn't get it. He just like kept hammering that, and it got to the point where the other comics are like looking at me. I was like, yeah, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, he thinks it's hilarious,
and obviously doesn't have much material if he's spending his time at an open mic talking about your joke.
2 out of 5 minutes
doesn't sound like the hardest worker ever.
No, right. Yeah. So, but I mean that was an isolated thing. But yeah, so like those 2 o'clock mics are killer for that reason. Like you can go early, take a nap, go to later, but then they go till like 2 a.m. But I kid you not. There's like 2 sides of Austin. I think it's 6th Street is what it is. There's like East and West 6th
like the
Street.
main street.
Is that okay? Yeah, that like Mothership's on and all that. So where the bridge is, that kind of divides it. Like the one side's very hipsterish, and the other side is what I call Harrisburg on meth. Okay. Anybody who's been to Harrisburg will know. Like how Harrisburg's crazy at night, kind of dead during the day. There's the Capitol, a couple cool businesses. That's what Austin is. Like it is dead on a clone. I mean, it's a state capital as well, so it's a dead on clone of Harrisburg. But it is. Like at night, people puking in the streets and people bouncing around. But those mics on the other side, there's way less of them. It's definitely more balanced. And that's where I went to, I think it was Cold Theater. I forget what it was. But Seth Meyers, I think I saw was going to be there. Like he was either there this week or he's going to be there this weekend, which is cool. Oh, yeah. But it was just like they had like a theater, a little open mic bar area. Like they had multiple venues to do things. Yeah. And they also do like improv troops for kids and stuff and train kids to do that, which was cool. I hope I'm talking into the mic enough. I noticed I noticed I keep like turning away from it, but I think we're good. But
that's why I like headphones.
Yeah, so you can at least kind of monitor.
I know if I'm fucking up or not.
And that's what I hear. Like sometimes I'll be like, But I will say another cool place, which actually I ran into Gretchen Dietz. You guys remember Gretchen Dietz?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we just talked about her the other day.
Did you? Okay. Yeah. I ran into her at the Creek in the Cave, which is I did 3 open mics there, I think. Nice. One went really well. One was, I think I finally got up around 1:30 in the morning. That was rough because by then everybody was leaving. Yeah. But I ran into her there. She did not remember who I was. And that's, fine. We had chatted once at POV, but whatever. I was like, hey, Gretchen. She's like, I'm not a stalker. And she barely remembered me. Once I kind of got her memory going, I was like, oh, whatever. No big deal. But anyway, but she said
might not have recognized you without the suit unless you.
That could have been part of it too. Yeah. I wasn't wearing. Yeah, I only brought a button-down shirt on tour. I didn't.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't take a suit. Yeah, I thought about it for England, but it is a pain. Like the dress shoes, it's one more thing because I do at least put sneakers on when I go.
Well,
on
then
stage
you don't want to pack it in a suitcase.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. There's ways to get around that. Like you roll a suit when you put it. I learned this actually from somebody I bought a suit
classy
from.
People.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. But I was like, I'm not. Yeah. When I travel, I don't. Maybe when I get bigger and I have a little more money, I can do that. But at this point, I'm not spending. I'm not paying to check a bag. I carry a bag, so that's the suit's not going in there. But anyway, Creek and Cave. She told me because I guess she's kind of hosting at a room now. But this Creek and Cave, they're getting who is it? A couple writers from SNL and that Michael Longfellow, the one he's one of the featured guys on SNL now. Okay. He's going to be there I think this week as well. There must be some Saturday Night Live thing going on because there's a bunch of people from SNL coming down there. I know Seth Meyers is not on SNL anymore, but but anyway, she said that's the hang place.
Gotcha.
Creek and Cave is obviously Mothership is its own thing.
Yeah.
But she's like, this is where, like, this is the comedian's clubhouse. And sure enough, like after the last mic that I was at there, I think that was like a Thursday night, people were playing poker out on the patio. Like all the comics were, they were just kind of hanging around talking. Some don't even do the mic. They just sit there and they do like, they'll do 2 mics a day. Plus they do a show in the middle. So that was cool. Like to get that insight into it. But she kind of mentioned the same thing. She's like, yeah, it's just comics everywhere. Like when you go to Nashville, because I went to Nashville after this, somebody has a guitar getting on the plane. I was like, oh, sweet, guitars. And then like everybody got on with a guitar. Oh, you're all musicians. Okay.
Yeah.
Same thing in Austin.
You
Like,
guys are all going to make it.
right, exactly. Yeah. You're all going to sit in cubicles and write songs the rest of your life. And same with Austin. Every person you saw on the street, if you listen long enough,
Like a joke book.
Exactly. Yep. Or they're like, "Where's the next mic we're going to?" It's like everybody here is a comic.
That's
oh my god,
very funny.
It was. Yeah. It was just. But it's so saturated. And then the problem is like Mothership sells out. Creek and Cave does like, it looks like they do great numbers as well. I think Gretchen said she does like the Velveeta Room, I think is what it's called. Sounds like they do great numbers. And nothing against any of the mics, but when you have 50 mics a night, you're only getting 3 people, 4 people maybe. Like that you can go. It's kind of like, in a way, it's like Nashville where there's bands playing everywhere. So
sure,
like,
yeah.
how many people can you really get to watch you because you can go anywhere?
Right.
So that's
The good thing about Nashville is like you still enjoy playing music.
yes, exactly. And
You don't
play for a
need an
while.
audience.
Yeah,
Like-
right. And if you're busking, like you can't do comedy on the street, which I think would be great if you could just. I mean, I guess there's that guy that does the subway jokes. You ever seen him?
No, I don't think so. I know. I heard Chappelle used to do that in
Did
like
he?
New York. He would. I've heard that like just like a one-off thing he would do.
Oh, okay.
He
Because
would
there's
just
a guy.
set up somewhere in like a park, set up like a whatever.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because I thought that would be cool in York, like out by the Central Market, just stand there and do jokes for half an hour. There's a guy in New York. He gets on the subway and he does different theme jokes. So he'll dress like a knight and then do all night theme jokes, or he'll dress like a chef. And he was just at
funny.
Magooby's or the Port. I forget which one he was at, but he was just here recently. Yeah. So and he's pretty big because I've seen bigger comics promote that he's going places.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's his shtick, is he gets on the metro and but he bombs intentionally. Like they're terrible dad jokes. But so he's interesting. But so that's kind of that idea of like just do it anywhere. But so like I said, like Vegas, it's a credible group of people. Not that Austin wasn't. It's just there's so many people.
Yeah.
Like
Right,
you're just another. The only thing that set me apart was I was not from the area.
Yeah.
But then I'm like talking to this one comic. I'm like, where are you from? She's like Aberdeen. It's Aberdeen? Yeah, Aberdeen. I think it's a small country off of Russia. Oh, wow. Yeah, like above Turkey. Like they're very similar to Turkey and Armenia. That's where she was from, and I was just like, okay, yeah, you're more interesting than me now. So, but like we're it. Like everybody else is from here, or Gretchen, being from But like, yeah, there's nothing. You really have to figure out a way to set yourself apart there, because it's a lot of the same, like just same style comedy over and over. So yeah.
Did you happen to talk to a guy? You said that name that reminded me of Brandon Lejeune.
No.
By any chance, him or Galen Nash?
No.
I like opened for them at the Comedy Zone or whatever. And that's
Okay.
like I think it's when we were talking about, because Gretchen like messaged me. I was like, oh, Brandon's awesome or whatever.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Because I think they live in Austin, but they do the road a lot, so it's like they're probably not.
Probably just based.
Yeah, exactly. They're pretty much based out of there. And
Gotcha. And then
I think Brandon runs some type of show there, but I forget.
That could be. Yeah, it looks like there's some regular things. Obviously, again, like Mothership is the thing
For sure, yeah.
But yeah, I think there's some other, like that Velveeta Room, Creek and Cave. Like they have some like regular improv shows or stuff they do. I did get to see Rami Youssef while I was there, so that was cool. He's the guy.
I know that name.
He hosted SNL recently. He's an Egyptian comedian.
Okay.
That, I think he has a cartoon on Hulu now or something about his family, like, because they're Egyptian and how things changed after 9/11.
Yeah,
but it's all like, it's like silly, but also like, yeah, this is how life. He was good. It was interesting to see him, especially because his audience was very progressive. So then, like, you're walking around Austin where it's a lot of, like the Joe Rogan bro mentality thing. And then there was just this huge line of people going to see that, which was interesting, but like mostly Muslim people. So it's just like, wow, because of him being Muslim. So, which was cool, because then I got to try out my Muslim joke
Nice.
as well on people. So, and see if nobody found it offensive. So, I'm pretty much 100% for that. Do you know my Muslim?
I don't know.
You ever heard my Muslim joke?
remember.
Yeah. That like because I'm starting to do a bit, like we talked the other night about like trying to link up jokes together. So now I have this whole thing about clothes, but the one I do is that I freak out. I'm not Islamophobic, but when I get on a plane and I see a Muslim in a cowboy hat, it scares the crap out of me because it might wage a jihad.
Nice.
It's just dumb.
Yeah.
But like I always test it just to see like, will this offend somebody? And no, like students, their parents, nobody's like, like that's just silly. I was like, thank you.
I love stuff that like
could
people like
they
get
do
up
they
there
clench
and then you relieve that with the silly.
Like, oh, thank God, it's just stupid.
exactly.
Thought it was gonna be a hate crime.
Right, and that's like it's almost like an anti-Jesselnick turn. Like set up something really dark and then make it really light. Like that's what I'll be. I'll just be anti-Jesselnick from now on.
Speaking of Vegas and going back to the Sphere.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
How did the Sphere play the part in the show? Like, what did they do with the Sphere? And with comics like doing like Madison Square Garden and big arenas, do you think that comedy would ever work in the Sphere? I'm glad
we got back to that because we got on that diversion thing about the guitars, which was totally cool.
Sorry.
No, it was totally cool. But that's what we wanted to talk about, the Sphere. So like it's basically like a 180 degree, maybe 270 IMAX screen. And they did a really good job of bringing that into, like you said, like being part of the show. I don't know how a comic would go over there because like sometimes you're not, like I'd forget the band was even there. Actually, I sent somebody a video and they're like, oh, that'd be cool to see it live. I'm like, I am seeing a band. They're in the bottom right corner. They're like, oh, I thought it was just a show. I was like, no, it's a band show, but there's like, you're focused on that. One problem with the Sphere is there's 2 levels. Okay. And where I was sitting, the level kind of overhangs, so you don't get to see the whole over the head.
Seems like a weird design. Like,
because you'd want people to see that. But somebody said that they were in the top area and they got sick up there because they're seeing too much. Because like now, like there's nothing to, like I at least had a roof to balance me. They had nothing. So like when you're in those IMAX theaters and you're like, oh, this is too much. That was messing with.
Yeah,
so,
some people can't handle VR like that. Yeah.
Same thing. So I think that like maybe that's why they do that. Like you could sit in here and still get the show, but not that. I wonder how there was the general, the standing, general admission. I wonder how that would be. It's a lot of standing for like a 3-hour show like that or a 4-hour show, but like,
so were they projecting like pictures? Were they projecting like colors, like light show? Like what was the actual like visualness?
A little bit of everything. They start off like the whole thing is you're on this journey, and fittingly for this one, they start off with trucking, like going back to like set list, like. Every night's a different set for them, which is how the Dead would do it. Like there was never like, because that's why people are like, oh, July 11th at RFK Stadium was awesome. Like, that was the only time they did that set, So they start off with trucking for this one, which was cool. It was neat to see that live. And
I mean that they probably had a similar set at the Sphere because I think they have to like do that. Well, like the visuals and stuff, they have to use the same. Similar stuff.
So that's what I wondered. The sets are all different. Like they're still doing different ones, but I wonder if they have like this is the trucking program, this is the whatever program.
They mix it up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because some of them
that's probably how they do it.
You're totally right.
Because I heard it takes like days to upload the file sizes for that stuff.
I can't even imagine.
Like I can't. I can't fathom how like it takes like days to upload.
Yeah. And what's funny is like the one was the Cosmic Charlie Dancing Bears. But do you remember the old Star Wars arcade game where it was just like green lines on a black background?
Vaguely, yeah.
That's what this looked like. So like it's not even that technically. It looked amazing, but it's not that advanced. And it probably does only go with that one song or whatever. But like that's still like to think like that's still probably a ton of data.
I bet the fucking people running that show hate the Dead.
Oh yeah,
they're like, can you just do the same thing, please?
Yeah, right.
You two do the same thing. Yeah, every time.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm sure they did. They probably played the same set every night. And
the Eagles definitely did the same thing every night.
Well, and so I'm glad I went because I saw like the next week or this week I think is when the Eagles come back for another residency. They're coming back for another residency. I was like,
holy shit.
Absolutely.
You don't like the Eagles?
I hate the Eagles.
I love the Eagles.
Oh, do you? Well, then you may enjoy that, but I will. I would not.
I mean, I don't need to see him at the Sphere. I can't I can't afford it. The tickets at the Sphere were cheaper than their regular concert tickets.
I can believe that.
Wow. They're so expensive. They're like $400 minimum a piece.
Yeah,
it's like I'm not.
No.
For Hotel Cal, I'm sorry, I can't.
No,
exactly. I can't do it. I love the music, but I don't need to see you guys hate each other for the entire
for that
show.
Much money. Yeah. Yeah,
you could fly to California and stay in a hotel and experience much more for the same amount of money.
That's right. Except never leaving. That was the one thing. Like, tickets are like $400-500 to the Sphere.
Yeah.
But the night or the day I got there, I booked my ticket like 5 minutes before the show started. They dropped to 175. Like, so that I will say, like, if you're looking for a show,
you're willing to gamble.
Yes, exactly.
It's Vegas.
It's Vegas, so why not? Yeah, good call. Yeah. But like, that's the thing. Like, those shows aren't like everything's a verified resale ticket. So like, somebody bought all the tickets and now they're trying to blow them out.
Yes.
So I figured, no, these shows aren't selling out.
Yeah.
So. And I don't think it would probably even be the same with the Eagles. Like, how many people are actually flying into Vegas to see the Eagles?
Yeah.
So that would be my advice to people traveling to the Sphere is.
But they extended that like 3 times, and now they're coming back.
And unless I'm mistaken, unless that was previous to this, but I think I think the Dead are finishing their residency. So it would be like they're coming back.
Man, they must be giving them so much money.
Oh, they have to be. And then you just hang out in Vegas.
And it's actually kind of one of those perfect bands for Vegas because everybody knows the Eagles.
Yeah.
Most people like the Eagles.
Right.
I've only met a handful that don't.
Yeah.
Usually the people that don't like the Eagles fucking hate the Eagles. Why do you hate the Eagles?
Hate the Eagles. I'll tell you why.
Some people are just quoting Lebowski, the Big Lebowski.
So I've never seen that. So
okay, so it's not, okay, fair enough. So you genuinely,
I genuinely hate. Yeah, it's not a bit. My parents, especially my dad, played the Eagles constantly. We had a restaurant. And we had a couple restaurants, but the one the Eagles were on all the time. And so you're a second grade kid sitting at the bar, when can we go home? It's 2 a.m, waiting for them to clean up. And
you can never leave, just listening.
And listening to that California. Anytime I can't even hear, was it Gypsy King's cover of Hotel California? I can't even hear that. Like, I don't want to hear covers of Eagles songs. Nobody can make them better. Like, I don't like the Beatles, but people can do cool Beatles covers. There's no way to make an Eagles song sound good. Barely can handle Life in the Fast Lane. And that's only because I like Joe Walsh. Like, I saw you had a James Gang record. I think downstairs I thought I saw you had a James Gang Rise Again.
Okay,
yeah. I love Joe Walsh. I like his guitar playing, but I can't stand it even in that context. I like the riff, and then I shut it off as soon as somebody starts singing. Like, I don't want to hear their voices. Nothing.
Fuck Don Henley.
Yeah, screw Don. Oh yeah. No, it's funny. See, this is kind of like the Beatles for me. I can listen to them individually. So like Boys of Summer, killer song. Love that track. Yep. That's a great song. Yeah. Well done. Like that one.
They're both fucking immense. I don't even understand how you can have that much talent in the band.
Yeah, right?
How do you get that luck? And then they both leave and have successful careers.
Weren't they somebody's backing band? The Eagles, didn't they start as
Did they? That wouldn't shock me.
It was somebody pull that up. The Eagles were they started as somebody's backing band, like Donna Summers or like an old R&B female singer. They started as their backing band.
That's like the Police were Susie and the band. Well, they were Susie's backing band, yeah. Or like the Smiths. Do you know the Smiths backed
Linda Ronstadt?
Oh, Linda
initially formed as the backing band for Linda Ronstadt.
Okay, so I was way off with
Donna
Summers.
But still, but she played in South Africa during apartheid, so it's kind of like
close enough.
She's like, great, somebody's still bringing that up that I did that one time.
I was way off, but
that's still really funny though. That they're just Summer, like,
Linda
we
Ronstadt.
need somebody.
Yeah, right.
Turns out to be one of the most successful rock bands in history.
Yeah, go ahead. So back to this.
You like the Beatles individually. Who's your favorite Beatle?
Boy, that's actually really tough because I don't really care for any of them. But probably,
I thought you said you like them individually, but
I should say their songs individually. I don't like any of John Lennon's solo stuff.
Okay,
definitely.
You don't like Imagine?
Nope. No, and I used to be able to play it on the piano. Like when I was in middle school, is fine. But I can't stand anything he does. Ringo is just schmaltzy. Like that song, like that A Night We'll Forget. I was like, what is this crap you're writing? And but he gets cool people for his all-star bands. Like he had Colin Hay involved. Like he gets neat people. Yeah. That's what bothers me. It's like, what's wrong with you? Like,
why do you guys respect these people?
Exactly. Yeah. And although there's a great story, Colin Hay from Men at Work.
I know of Men at Work.
Yeah, who can it be now?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's coming to York. Actually, I saw he's coming to the Strand. Killer.
Yeah.
Excellent guitar player, excellent singer, and great raconteur, like killer stories. And his story was that he was playing with Ringo's all-star band for like the one album, and they're doing a record, and he got like his copies of his record came in, and he brought one in to show Ringo. He's like, "Hey, I did a cover of a Beatles song. I did an Octopus Garden or something like that."
Yeah.
And Ringo's like, "Yeah, I heard." He's like, "Do you want a copy of the album?" And Ringo just said, "No." So that I thought was pretty funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Because, Colin Hayes, killer. I'd say probably George.
That is the correct answer.
Yeah, I mean, that is. Yeah.
That is the correct answer.
Right? I figured that's where you were going. And that's, like Paul's okay. His body of work is definitely enjoyable.
For sure.
But like George is the interesting one.
And not only was his solo stuff good, I feel like George's songs that he wrote in the Beatles
Are
were
the best.
were the better ones.
What songs would those be?
Here Comes the Sun, Something.
Yeah, something was him, I think.
Something in the way she moves.
While My Guitar Gently Weeps, I want to say.
While My Guitar
Oh shit!
Gently
Okay,
Weeps.
well now you're
probably-
selling me pretty hard.
Yeah. And Sinatra called something like the greatest love song ever written or something like
'cause
that.
he did a cover, I think, right?
Yeah. What else did George do? I mean, those are like
I can't even remember, but yeah.
I think they're best songs he wrote. So like, and I love the fact that everyone was like John and Paul, and then like he wrote the better songs.
Yeah.
Because I kind of feel like I might have had that role in a band or two.
Yeah.
But so I kind of relate to that.
They were the pretty boys, so
Exactly.
Yeah, they
you
kinda
gotta,
were.
be, you gotta be a dream.
The stronger egos get all the attention.
They do.
And meanwhile, the better songwriters.
This is gonna be
just
a
like,
hilarious question. Were the Beatles were a lot of those guys really egotistical?
Yeah, it was John and Paul were like the nucleus, and
Okay.
like every album would have like 5 John songs, 5 Paul songs,
And like two
George, and then they let Ringo fucking
like one
sing about the fucking
Yellow
octopus
Submarine,
garden
or
Submarine
Yellow
or some
Submarine.
shit.
Yeah, exactly.
They would let Ringo do a children's song.
That's right.
So yeah, and then like that's. I guess they all had egos, but I think what ultimately broke them up probably was John and Paul, and then like for years after they would go back at each other in the press. And
I was blaming
and stuff.
Yoko for some reason
A lot of people
because I
did.
think it's funny. I don't
A
know.
lot of people did.
But if you watch, I've never watched. Did you watch the Beatles Peter Jackson thing?
No.
So like I've heard like it's ridiculous how mean they are to George. George's like, I got this idea, and they're like, okay, so we're working on this thing. Yeah, it's like I think that's probably more than Yoko. It's like. Yeah, you guys weren't treating your best songwriter in the band well.
Right.
Like the Smiths, like I don't know if you guys like the Smiths a lot or not, but like so Morrissey and Johnny Marr are the nucleus of that band. And they and like Andy Rourke and I forget the other guy's name, they didn't do much of anything, I don't think. Like I mean they're great musicians, but like it came out later that I think the way the contracts were drawn up is that and this was Marr, and I love Marr. I don't know how I feel about Morrissey depending on the day, but I love his music. They wrote the contracts that they got like 80% of the royalties and the other guys got like 10%. And a judge even excoriated them for that. He's like, he's like, how could you do this to your friends?
Yeah,
you guys, it's not like you got different drummers and bass players. Like these are your friends from high school. And this is what you did.
Yeah, I could almost see.
wild.
I think I feel like that would be fair in like a different situation where like maybe like Pantera, if they toured and then the two guys that are still alive got 80% and the other, that would be like, all right, that tracks. You guys did this.
Yes.
You built like, or Metallica.
But the fucking estates of Vinny and Dime should be getting something to
Exactly.
Yes, true. But I guess Metallica would be a more fair one because that's kind of, isn't it like Lars and James?
Basically, or like
And then,
the
like,
nucleus and everybody else.
The other guys, they're like, it's mostly those two.
Yeah.
But then obviously the other two bring a lot to the band.
Right.
And clearly they get treated well because they're still together.
Right.
And
But-
Kirk's been there for the first album. He wasn't the original guitar player, but he's been there since the first album.
Right. And then Trujillo's probably just been like seen enough crap in his life. It's not like Newstead where he's getting picked on. He's like, all right, knock it off.
Yeah, I wonder.
I was in suicidal tendencies, you jerks.
Yeah, not that it matters, but I am curious. That is curious. I wonder how they do like.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to
I guess.
know.
Jesus Christ, I forgot his name. Oh my God, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm sure that like the guitar. What the hell is the guitarist's name?
Kirk
Hammett.
Kirk. Jesus Christ, I was thinking Rob, and I'm like, that's
the
not.
bass
Yeah,
player.
wrong guy.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Bass player.
I don't know how I'm losing.
That's all right.
How I forgot, but yeah,
not
I
an
guess
important
like
band.
Kirk probably. They're never important. Yeah. He probably gets. I mean, I guess a decent percentage considering he's been around for that long.
I would
for
think
sure.
yeah.
But yeah, like Avenged Sevenfold has a different drummer now. I wonder if they give him,
Yeah.
or like John 5 and Motley Crue, are they giving him Mars's?
That's probably more of like a hired gun kind of thing.
Probably
Yes.
because Mick
Versus,
Mars
like, a
should
member
probably
of
be
the-
making money off of that,
Right.
Right.
considering a big part of Motley Crue's music is definitely the fucking guitar.
Yeah. That's where like Chester Thompson, who played on like some Zappa albums, he was, if I'm not mistaken, he was Genesis's drummer for a long time because of Phil Collins filling on vocals. But they didn't bring him in as an actual band member. He was a hired gun, like you said, like kind of like John Five, unless they're writing new music together.
Yeah.
But they would just and this is where Tom Petty looks jerky because he did Full Moon Fever, but he brought the Heartbreakers in to help with the songs, but didn't give them songwriting credit. He paid them an hourly wage, even though like Mike Campbell's writing the guitar solos. And so that gets into health benefits too. Cause like Chester Thompson, like his thing is like, he's like, just make me a member of your band so I can be on your health plan. And Phil Collins and Tony Banks and Rutherford were like, no, you're not a member of the band. He's like,
shitty.
And that's, so finally I think for one
especially,
of the,
it's like you can afford it.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not a small business.
Yeah.
Fucking.
I found out when I was in San Antonio, Phil Collins funds the, what's the thing there? The Alamo. He funds the Alamo.
What?
Yes. This is insane. Oh, this is great for your podcast.
Nothing about that. Yeah.
Had no idea. So when he was a kid, because I thought it was a different Phil Collins, and while and I took the tour at the
that
Alamo.
would make sense.
Right? Yeah, exactly. It makes way more sense than what we're seeing is reality. Phil Collins was obsessed with the Davy Crockett Disney show as a kid. Started buying up whenever they were on tour, especially in America, buying up memorabilia about the Alamo. So then he finds out that there's like the Alamo is falling into disrepair. So he funds it. He actually does the narrating for the shows, and he has the largest private collection of Alamo memorabilia, and he has it all on display there. Pictures of him everywhere. Had no idea. Yeah.
That's so crazy.
It's so insane. Yeah, some English guy is like totally sold
So
on
if you take a tour of the fucking Alamo, it's a British dude talking to you.
It's a British guy talking to you. Yes,
wild.
exactly. About a Mexican incursion. Yeah.
And the Texans actually tolerate that shit.
Yeah, they look the other way.
It's Phil Collins. Come on.
People. Yeah,
But it's Texas.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. That's a very interesting part of Texas, though. The San Antonio is definitely a little more progressive. Yeah,
I've been to the Alamo.
Okay.
My grandparents used to live in Texas. I had to go visit in the summer, so I did go to the Alamo. But I was too young to remember any like Phil Collins.
And this probably was before that, because it wasn't until fairly recently, within the last 10 or 15 years, because the whole structure's gorgeous now, like as far as like the museum and stuff. But
the craziest story I had heard of the Alamo was Ozzy, obviously.
Yeah, taking a leak on it, and
yeah.
It sounds
in Sharon's dress.
Oh, is that what he's wearing?
Yeah, so Sharon knew he was all fucked up and didn't want him to leave the hotel room, so she took all of his clothes. So he put on like some green evening dress of
that
hers.
Dude's a fucking legend. God, as unlikable as he could possibly be.
Yes.
He's
snorting.
You gotta
ants
respect that shit.
Yeah, put on his wife's green dress and went and pissed on the Alamo.
He's got to be a great hang, right?
You would think he's got. Yeah, if you can understand what he's saying.
Yeah. Do you need to?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, that's a great one, Ozzy. Tell me another one. Yeah.
You can use your imagination.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Use your illusion. Oh wait, that was Guns N' Roses. My bad.
Nice. It was almost nice.
It was almost nice. Yeah.
I'm not gonna do it on camera, but I'll do it afterwards. Henry Rollins would do those like spoken word things.
Yes.
I used to have one on VHS.
Okay.
And he does the most hilarious impression of Ozzy.
Nice.
But it's an act out, and that I'm not gonna do.
You're not perfecting that for your set. That's not.
Not at all.
Yeah.
What were we talking about?
Oh, Sphere. One more thing about the Sphere, by the way. Food, that was another thing. Food, very reasonably priced there.
Really?
I got some like pork belly sub. It was $15, and it was filling.
God damn.
Yeah,
That's
I was
extremely
shocked.
reasonable.
I would have expected like $36.
Yep. All the
minimum.
food. I was so blown away. The Sphere, so super classy venue.
Good for them.
Yeah, it was good. And what's cool, there is a parking garage there. Garage is tiny because most people I think just walk there from wherever they're staying.
Right.
Because Vegas is pretty walkable for the most part.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was, and I guess there's like a monorail thing. I didn't do that, but so if you're going to the Sphere, because I was worried, I was like, what kind of crap food am I gonna have to eat at a venue? It was great. It was a delicious. I took a picture of the sub. I was like, I will remember this sub. It was a really good sub. So
Yeah, I can't remember who I saw there, but this sub was fantastic.
That's right. Yeah. I probably even brought a shirt from the band. Actually, what's funny is I bought a couple shirts from the show, and I was like, I don't like it. Like I bought one for my son. I bought one kind of for me, and I ended up giving it to my business partner because I thought it was like more his style anyway and material. And then when I got to Red Rocks, the Dead must have played Red Rocks. And so they had a shirt where it was the skull, the Steal Your Face skull, but instead of the lightning bolt, it was the Red Rocks splitting the blue.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's
and
cool.
it was like
That's cool.
$12. It was on the clearance rack. I was like, well, that's and it was a material I like. I was like, that's my shirt.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was the only downside. But the sphere, like just standing in the entranceway is cool.
Yeah.
The outside of the sphere, they project stuff on it, and like it's all one big LED display, whatever. It's so I can't recommend it enough. Like if there's a band you like, going there, go see them because it's
or
worth
if they
it.
if they do a good like visual with the band. Like I would have saw I looked up the U2 show on like YouTube, and I'm like, I would fucking see that.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked spectacular as far as, and U2's. I don't have any problem with U2.
I
don't
No,
like.
I couldn't
they're
see
fine.
I mean, I like.
I feel about you too about the way you
Way
feel
I
about
feel
the
about the
Eagles,
Eagles,
but
yeah.
probably even worse.
I mean,
because I don't tolerate any of the members. Like, not like you like Joe Walsh. Like,
you don't even have any.
I see. I know nothing about them, and I've only.
I know
heard their
very
music.
little and don't
like
wish
it.
to know more.
I just know South Park making fun of
Yes.
Bono in
Oh, yeah.
Africa. Just
Oh.
throwing like just giving like all the charity and stuff.
Yeah, or that he was wasn't he the Pope's like defecate or something like that? Like that was one where he was the baby, the Pope birth,
Yeah.
and he was the
Yeah,
Antichrist.
yeah.
That was like a long time
Yeah,
ago.
when
for that.
Stan's dad had
Yes.
the record shit or whatever.
Yes,
Right,
that's what
right,
it was.
right,
And
right.
Bono was the
And Bono
record.
was the record shit.
That's right. That's what it was. Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah. See, I don't like everything you two have done, but I do like a fair amount of it. But like even that, like when I saw what people were paying to go see that, I was like, I don't know if I'd do
just-
that.
yeah, I
like,
can't.
I
But
don't know if I ever
I
need
might
to
wait
see
till
them
the day of and see if I could get tickets
right,
for cheap.
do that. Yeah.
That fucking thing. I don't know if it was Netflix that It Might Get Loud thing.
Yes.
It was Jimmy Page,
The Edge, and Jack White. Oh,
and
funny story about that.
and The
Yeah.
Edge. And I used to call it Might Get Overrated.
Yes.
because I was like, ugh.
Yeah, those three.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
So
like,
of the three, Jimmy Page sure is,
sure.
but
Zeppelin,
Yeah.
right?
yeah,
Okay.
nice.
Is he a guitar?
Yeah,
Yeah,
good for you, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. Like, not to be condescending, just like, I know you're not just not as into as we are.
No,
yeah.
it's just I'm not into as the lore is heavily.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we're
As-
definitely.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
we
that's
nerd
a-
out in that. Yeah. Did you, have you ever seen, do you know who Bill Bailey is? So I want to say he's an English comic. I don't think he's Scottish because sometimes I get him mixed up with Billy Connolly. So he was on a show called Black Books. If you've ever seen that, it's worth
Maybe if I
watching.
saw
once.
him, maybe if I saw him, yeah.
You might, yeah. He's a musician.
Okay.
And he brings that into his comedy. And so he does a thing where he gets up, he's like, this is what the Edge sounds like. And he's like, he brings out a guitar. Because he does Metallica
Yes.
too. Have you ever
I've seen clips, I think, of
Okay.
this. Yeah.
Because he plays Enter Sandman, I think, on bottles or something like that. Like it's filled with water, like almost like a crystal thing. But he comes out with a guitar. He's like, this is the Edge, and it's all delayed. And it's like, yeah. And then he's like, and now I'll turn off the delay, and it's just like it's like Jingle Bells or something like that.
Yeah.
He's really good at pointing out flaws in music, which is great because he obviously knows so much. But yeah, Bill Bailey. Yeah,
It's so funny when
Rip the
people that
Edge.
are so talented musically like that don't go into music.
Yeah.
Like same thing with like I always felt that way with Bo Burnham. It's
Yep.
like it's really interesting that you just don't write pop music and
Right.
make $1 billion.
Because you're obviously skilled at this.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He can make a satirical song trashing pop music that sounds as poppy as good as
Right.
anything on the
And
radio.
honestly, more listenable.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right?
literally. Yeah,
Yeah.
repeat stuff.
Yeah. It's like Chappelle always says, like, musicians think they're comedians and all comedians think they're musicians. And so it's probably the same thing. Like, some people just know which lane to stay in.
Have you ever thought about bringing music into a comedy?
I've considered it. I don't like the joke song stuff. And that's where I'm afraid. It would have to be, if I did it, it would be more like Fred Armisen does. And I already feel like he does it well, like where he just talks about the whole, like he brings a cymbal in or he'll like play something, but not actually write a jokey song. Yeah. And that's kind of because that's feedback somebody gave me at one point that like when I was doing that early on, this friend of mine, she was like, she's like, I like that you don't, like when you do stuff, because I did do a set one time of like comedy and music. One of like the first stand-up sets I did like 20 years ago. And I think I just like made fun of stuff I was doing, or I would yell at my hands, but like not, so that's the only way I would do it. I don't think I could.
I
was gonna say, would you?
I don't know. I was gonna say I finally got to see Lennon do his
That's right.
on
you
a show
said.
with him
How was
recently.
that?
It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome.
He's really fucking good at it.
Yeah,
So,
he's one that like could probably write. So I told him like, you've like a good. There, he does this one song, and I can't tell you what it is. You just have to see it someday because it'll ruin it.
Okay.
Literally, just telling you what it is will ruin it. So you have to see it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I was like, that takes like some serious fucking vocal range
Yeah,
to like do that,
For sure.
and he definitely has the ability to. And I'm jealous because I have no singing voice, and I would love to.
And then
Side note, Lennon, if you're listening, I'm down to record your comedy album, comedy music
will.
album, if you ever want to do that.
Yes, Damien will win a Grammy for that just because of the quality.
I don't know about that, but I just
Lennon, like it. We're all kind of lucky he's not on the internet, because otherwise, like, because he would blow everything up. Like people would, as much as Shane Gillis gets people to come to like Comedy Zone. People would be flocking to Gettysburg to find out about Lennon Free. And
Gettysburg.
can you imagine if that became a comedy hub because of Lennon Free? But he is so good. Like it's sickening how good that guy is. And then he's just like, just text me if you want me to be on a show. What? Like. I want to know what he really does that he enjoys doing that so much that he's like, because I mean, I enjoy what I do for, like, I love teaching. It's so much fun, but like, I wouldn't be opposed to being, doing comedy more often.
For sure.
So like, what's he doing where he's like, if you need me, I'll be there.
It's certainly not delivering the fucking mail.
Right, exactly. Because that doesn't seem rewarding. Yeah,
I know they said that when we got that job. It's a really rewarding job. Like
what?
Right.
Yeah. Maybe when like little kids are sending their letters off to Santa, but like probably not even that. Yeah.
Fucking working there cock blocked me from a show last weekend.
What?
To be fair, I was kind of late to work, but outside of that, I would have been perfectly fine. But my fucking mail truck broke down. I had to wait a while for them to come get me, so I wouldn't have made it to the show on time. So I had to fucking text Earl and be like, "My mail truck broke down. I'm not gonna make it on time."
that's
a bummer.
So it was very annoying.
I mean, luckily,
I've never had to cancel a spot.
I was gonna say you've never
not
had
that not that I've had a million spots, but I've never had to cancel.
You're getting on a lot of
Yeah.
stuff with Earl though, so like that's the thing. Like at least this was a one-time thing. Yeah.
Right,
But that
right.
does. Yeah. That's.
But I'm always worried, like, am I going to be a flake? But like, I've never had to cancel any show.
Yeah.
Luckily, it was an Earl show because then he knows better than
Exactly.
Right.
It wasn't like
He
your
knows-
first time.
Yeah,
And he had Bobby.
Donnell Rollins was calling you, and you're like, "Oh crap, my mail truck broke down?"
Right. And he
That's
had he had Bobby Tamboro, so like he
okay.
did have somebody.
Yeah,
so like,
he could. Yeah.
Nice.
but anyway, I did. This is a very music heavy episode.
It is.
So I didn't want to bring up in a more positive way because we trashed some bands.
Sure.
You guys trashed some bands. I trashed.
Yeah, that's
no one.
true. Yeah. You're pretty open.
I was
Fair
nothing
enough.
but positive.
By the way, remind me. I won't tell it now, but remind me to tell you about when I saw Avenged Sevenfold on the Warped Tour.
Hell yeah.
And they were one of the side bands. They were on like the Ernie Ball stage. So it was
Okay.
like me and 10 other people watching.
Oh,
this.
hell
So,
yeah.
like,
That's sick.
But it was the Screaming era. So
Yeah, for
remind me to
sure.
tell you that later.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, you were going to say.
I wanted to bring up Alice in Chains and Jerry Cantrell. Do you have any indifferent? Are you a fan? Or?
I like, is it Boggy Depot, the one solo album that Jerry Cantrell did?
I think so. I'm
Yeah.
less familiar with his solo.
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
Though I did see him do his solo stuff opening for Metallica
Oh, okay.
years ago.
Okay.
But yeah. Anyway,
I think that was the album with I Cut You In, with like, which
it
I
was
thought
one
was
of
cool.
his first ones.
Yeah, I think it is Boggy Depot. I know that better than I know Alice in Chains. Not an Alice in Chains fan.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's fair.
Yeah.
How old are you?
So I'm going to be 43 this year.
So we're about to.
I was gonna say we're about the same
I'm
age.
43
Yeah.
in October.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm in August. So I didn't realize for some reason I thought you were a little older than me, but yeah. Okay.
I always feel like I'm older than everybody.
Yeah, right. I always feel like I'm younger than everybody. Yeah. Due to a trauma, I still feel like I'm 15 mentally. So
Fair enough. But
people laugh, but it's true.
I thought you were in that era where like the big four of grunge, like really. I know that's not an official title, but that's what I call
But
it.
it's a real thing.
That's what I call it.
And what are we talking about? Nirvana, Stone Temple Pilots, I'm assuming?
No.
Oh, okay.
See, Stone Temple
Because they're from
Pilots.
Chicago
They were
or whatever.
Stone Temple Pilots, I feel, is like the Exodus or the Testament.
Yes. I get
Of the-
I
but
know
it
what you're
would
talking
be,
and I don't like them at all. So other than, well, I'll go back to this in a second, but you go ahead. Yeah.
Nirvana, Soundgarden, Pearl Jam,
Okay.
and Alice in Chains.
Yep. And the only one I liked was Nirvana out of those four.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. But go ahead anyway, because I'll explain all this. It all ties into one thing.
Fair enough. But
I
Well,
hate. Yeah, never mind.
well, two things. I got a couple Alice in Chains shirts recently.
Okay.
And it's enough that I'm bringing it up now. How weird this is. Mm-hmm. I've gotten so many comments on those shirts that it was like unnerving. It was like literally like I would pass like 3 people at work, be like, "Oh, Alice in Chains." Oh, yeah.
Are you guys okay?
I'd go to the gas station. Oh, Alice in Chains. Like, and I was like, "What is happening?" I felt like I was in the Truman Show where like everybody's talking to you.
Yes.
And I'm like, I'm literally just wearing a shirt of a band that is still going, but is like more of an older the lead singer died. So like, but it was unnerving, and I was like, "Are they having like a resurgence?"
Yes.
I mean, they are still together. They still have the new singer. They're coming out with albums. They're still doing good. But like, I'm wearing the older school
like
shirts.
Dirt and Jar of Flies.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 shirts I bought.
Yeah, right? Yeah. And people know it.
Yeah. Even younger. Now, this made me feel old. This chick cashier at Royal Farms was like, "Oh, yeah. My mom just got me into them," and I was like, "That album," and I really dig it, so I want to check out more of them. And I was like, "Cool," but
cool. That wasn't helpful for me.
But it was weird enough that I'm bringing it up now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure you'll get a comment on a shirt, Mitch Hedberg. You'll be like, "Oh yeah, Mitch is cool," but like this was like a week straight of like, why do people keep talking about this? It was very weird.
I got it for the one day. It's so funny. It's this shirt. I was wearing a Chevelle shirt.
Oh.
I don't even like Chevelle. Like I liked the shirt.
Yes, you like
and
the design.
at the
I thought it was about the car.
I like the car a lot, but I like one of their albums kind of. And I saw them once, and they made the audience sing their biggest song, which is insane.
Oh,
There's like they wanted the crowd. They like literally didn't sing the Red, their biggest song.
I was gonna say, is it the Red?
Yeah, and they're like, I'm like, what is happening? Why are we doing your job?
Exactly.
And it was like a shorter set, so it was like because it was like 5 bands or something, and just out of all the bands, I think I bought 2 shirts, and it was like that, and then I got a Dorothy shirt. I didn't really like any of the other merch.
Yeah.
So I just got those 2 because I really like the shirt. I literally like that shirt more than I like Chevelle.
Yeah.
And like mad people kept saying, like talking to me about it. I'm like, please stop. I don't want to talk about this band I don't like.
Right. Do you know who produced their first album, by the way?
No.
Steve Albini.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, you don't know? Okay, you know Steve Albini.
Yeah, right.
I'm not on the Steve Albini train, by the way. I don't care for like his attitude and stuff. Especially
me neither.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, people when he died recently, people were like, "Oh, see," and I get it. Like he produced In Utero. Okay. He produced the Pixies' first full album. He produced Surfer Rose, I guess. He's produced a lot of stuff. Okay. What I didn't like about him, he had a background very commonly known about making fun of the bands after he produced them.
Oh, that's
yeah, exactly. You know, like I guess like you could see it as a punk thing, like he just doesn't care. It's like but like these people paid you to do a job.
Yeah,
right,
you don't need to badmouth them as far as
and
like
now you're badmouthing something you worked on. Why'd you work with somebody you were going to bad?
Exactly.
Like if I had the ability to say yes or no, I wouldn't want to work with somebody I didn't like.
Exactly. Yeah.
Why would you want to fucking sit there and master an album you don't like?
Exactly.
It's insane.
Yeah. Like he recorded dialogue for Surfer Rosa. There's like little interjections, you know, like them talking. And there's the one tribute album for the Pixies. This band does the dialogue from the album as part of a song. Like they're just, you know, and he's like, yeah, that's stupid. And it's like, well, then why did you put that on the album? Because that was your idea. Like, why would you don't think some kid's going to hear it someday and be like, that's awesome. I want to recreate that conversation. Like, that's like Tarantino putting a line in a movie and being like, who cares about Big Macs in France? Why are people talking about it? You put it in there.
Like, Samuel L. Jackson sucks.
Right. So
terrible actor.
Exactly right. Yeah. Why would anybody put it? Or Uma Thurman? Who wants to have movies featuring her?
This movie has an egregious amount of N-words.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
Who's responsible?
Yeah. He's on a media tour, pissed about the movie.
That's right. But anyways, Steve Albini produced the Point Number 1, which is the first Chevelle album, which does not sound anything like the one you're talking about. Yeah. That one did have that Red is an alright song, but what's the one song Send the Pain Below? That's a good song.
I actually do kind of like that song.
That's a pretty solid, other than the weird little like I can feel my chest, and it just turns into like a basic alt rock or
you're right. I actually do like that song as well.
Otherwise it's a pretty cool song, other than that stupid breakdown in the middle, because it sounds very 2000s, like it's a very dated sound. But
going back to Alice in Chains, Jerry Cantrell.
I was going to tell you why that's happening, but go ahead.
Well, I've been diving back into them, and I always liked them, and they were always my favorite of the four.
Gotcha.
I have a theory that you love. It's the one grunge theory. It's It's my original theory that you love one. You can only love one of them.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
You
would
can
fit
only
me.
like I love Soundgarden. The rest I like a lot, but like I just can't. It doesn't resonate the way Soundgarden did.
That would fit with me with Nirvana.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
none of the other ones even hold a candle as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
But I fucking think Jerry Cantrell is like super underrated.
Yeah. As a guitar player, yes.
Kind of for the same reason that like I feel like Dime was the greatest metal guitar player because he carried a band that heavy being the only guitar player.
Right. That's huge.
Alice in Chains, only guitar player, principal songwriter, also strong vocalist. Now, I'm not as big a fan now without Lane because I feel like that voice,
Yeah.
you need that. Like the new
It's
guy
like the Linkin
sounds
Park
good.
thing.
I am
Like,
interested
I'm
in
not a
hearing the
Linkin
new
Park fan.
albums though.
Yeah, and I've
There's a couple albums that like you'd think that have no business being good. Like I thought the most I gotta listen to that again. The most recent Judas Priest album was like fucking
Was it?
killer.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is great. Killer. Of course I said that. It was just a killer out. Like it's fucking really good.
Wow.
And it's like, damn, you guys could have made a piece of shit
Yeah.
easily. Like it'd have been completely acceptable for this not to be good.
Yeah.
I just feel like lyrically, musically, like melodically, like there's so much range in Alice in Chains stuff. Like they can do like heavy, but then they can also do chill. Like Jar of Flies might be like in my top 5 albums of all time.
Oh, okay.
And it's like just an acoustic EP basically.
Yeah.
Or a mostly acoustic
Yeah,
EP.
right.
But I don't know. I just feel like he needs to get more love.
Yeah.
And that I have no other reason to bring that. I was just the shirt thing just weirded me
That is
out.
funny.
Because it was like enough that I would even bring it up.
Yeah.
That it was constant. but
Twice is crazy. Two times
you
in a
said-
day is crazy.
this was like I had the 2 different shirts. I might have worn them like one day, one the next day, but it was at work at the grocery store and people like, oh yeah, I like that. Like it was like wanting to hold conversations with me. I was like, what is happening with Alice in Chains right now that
Yeah.
I'm not aware of?
And then to top it off, the cashier calling you a grandpa.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. My mom got me into that. I noticed at school a lot of Alice in Chains shirts.
Okay.
Sometimes what happens, because I've seen kids, it's Van Halen shirts, whatever. They just like the design. But yeah, I just noticed it, and I don't know if it got used in a show. That could be part of it. Sometimes
Okay.
that happens because the
Okay.
kids watch like a Netflix show that's based in the 90s or uses 90s music, and
Yeah.
they're like, oh, this
Stranger
band-
Things.
Yeah, Stranger Things
of-
obviously did that for like
people
Kate
discovered
Bush.
Master of Puppets
Yeah,
like
right?
that wasn't a thing already.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like you didn't know that was one of the greatest metal songs of all time, and now you're like, oh, I want to learn that track now. Yeah. So I think that's part of it. Is like something must have spurred it.
Okay.
But also I think that band like 7 years ago, 8 years ago, the Beatles I noticed had another resurgence. Like all the kids were wearing Beatles shirts at school.
Okay.
And recently it was Alice in Chains shirts, which is interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'cause-
maybe it could have been in like that makes me sound 1,000, but it could have been in like a TikTok
Right. No.
or something like
that's
a song might have gotten.
some song from some band I like I don't know if it was Sweet or what it was, they got used in a TikTok and now suddenly everybody knew that. No, you're exactly right. Like
Yeah.
it gets used in a clip and then everybody knows it. But just great because like it used to be got used in a movie or a commercial.
Yeah.
TikTok's just a new way of getting people into that.
Right.
That is pretty cool.
But yeah, but that's probably why. Because I like, why not Stone Temple Pilots? Pearl Jam's still going, so maybe that's like they're like now the AC/DC or Rolling Stones of that era. It's like
Yeah.
just
Yeah, I mean Eddie Vedder's
stop.
the only front man still alive from the
Correct.
Holy shit!
That's a really good point. Does seem like a conspiracy.
including the Testament of the Grunge.
Yeah,
fucking,
that's right.
Stone Temple Pilots.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Scott Weiland's gone.
Yeah.
Chris Cornell.
Yeah,
Son of a
Lane
bitch.
Staley.
yeah. Is Kurt
Also,
Cobain still around? Is he still around? What's he doing?
It might be.
He might be. Okay, yeah. Yeah.
He's here and there.
yeah. Runs a shotgun store, I think I heard, or something like that.
He's here and there. there was that old a little all over the place.
Still all over the place, yeah.
There's that it's an old tired joke, but I don't know if I'm sure you've heard it. You might be a little young to have heard it. What color were Kurt Cobain's eyes?
No.
Blue. One blue that way, one blue that way.
Oh, man.
Jesus
Yeah, I know.
That's super dark. Wow.
Yeah. That was the kind of jokes that happened in high school or middle
Yeah, I
school
guess
when
I-
that happened. So sorry.
No, that's
I didn't write it.
right?
But I did also, as much love as I want to give Jerry Cantrell, Lane Staley as a vocalist for being a tiny little white heroin addict.
Didn't know that. Okay.
Had a huge voice.
Yeah.
Like pretty good range, but like he could like hold a note forever, and he could sing with so much, like he had the like power of a large black woman as far as singing.
Yeah.
But he was a tiny little white dopehead. And like to
one
have
more
that
cultural appropriation right there. Just one more.
to have that much lung capacity and
Yeah, it's
power.
impressive.
Well, he was shooting up. He wasn't
kinda
smoking
wild.
nothing.
That's right. Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's probably part of it.
saving his
yeah.
lungs.
Yeah. Man, yeah. I mean, yeah, like that's same with like I don't like Stone Temple Pilots. I like Tiny Music from the Vatican Gift Shop.
Okay.
Great. I think that's a great album, or at least the songs I know off of it. Like I like that era. And the DeLeo brothers, same thing. Like one guitar player, one bass. Obviously one bass player, but like same thing. One guitar player carrying the band, and they write really cool stuff. And the drummer's fantastic for that band too.
The guitar tone on Core is ridiculous.
Is
it's
it?
like
So I've never listened to any of their other albums.
it's like that was their breakthrough album that had
Plush. Okay.
Wicked Garden, that kind of
Okay.
stuff. But if you just like listen to just the guitar tone, it's like this shit is thick as fuck. Like it deserved to be on like a metal album. Like
Interesting.
if you could recreate that tone, but on a metal album, it would be like the heaviest thing of all time. Like,
Interesting.
but it's not very like super heavy music.
Huh.
But just like the tone is like, god damn, it's like just thick and dark. I don't know.
Interesting. Neat. Yeah.
Easy there.
Yeah, right. He's getting excited.
Yeah, he's
Sorry.
getting thick and dark.
Thick with like 5 C's. My thing, so Beatles, the Eagles are exempt because, like I said, a part of a riff and that's it. Is all I give them. But like most bands, I can give them 5 songs at most.
Okay.
So like Soundgarden.
See, that would be fair because like there's a lot of weird fucking Soundgarden.
Right.
It's a lot of weird Soundgarden.
I will say the more I listen to Soundgarden, the more I'm enjoying them. Like I heard Bad Motorfinger the other day for the first time. I was like, oh yeah, this is cool.
Yeah.
But like Burden in My Hand, I was like, this is an incredible song.
Yeah,
This
I
is
actually like. I don't know if it's popular or not, but I like later Soundgarden.
Yeah.
their album when they came back, I thought was fantastic.
I never heard that
it's
one
called
either.
King Animal.
Yes,
I
yeah.
didn't like the most popular song was this. I've been away for too long. I don't like.
Okay.
It's like it's really like I don't really even like that song. But
Okay.
besides that song, fucking love that album.
Oh, cool.
It's like real dark. It's like real like yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
neat.
sick album.
Huh. Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
I love like Down on the Upside.
But yeah,
think
my
it's
favorite would be what Christ, I forget what it's called.
Super Unknown.
Yeah, Super Unknown.
Yeah,
That is
yeah,
it.
yeah, that one didn't really do it for me. I mean,
Yeah.
but as I like listen to it later, like I love Kim Thale and Kim Thale again, another guitar player carrying a band with
Yeah.
one guitar
Well,
player.
Chris did play.
Oh, that's true. Chris did play. You're right. He
I don't
did.
know how necessary it was though.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
sometimes more just rhythm.
Yes,
so,
for sure.
Do you remember this era then? Because we are about the same age. There was MTV, there was VH1, and then at my dad's he had like cable, so he had the box.
I was going to ask, were you talking about the box where you
The
could make
box.
you could recommend or you could call
Right.
in and request songs?
Right. But do you remember this period of time where at any moment, at any hour of the day, if you put on one of those 3 channels, it would either be Soundgarden Black Hole Sun, it would be Crash Test Dummies, and or Meatloaf. I would do anything for love.
Yep.
It was those 3 songs.
Correct.
It
Yep.
was wild.
Yep.
Any moment of the day
Yep.
on those stations, one of
And
those
that's
3
like a
songs would be
legit
playing.
thing that like would just
It
it would
was just
literally be that's so
constant.
funny.
It was
Non-stop
constant.
rotation. Because I think a year or 2 before Bohemian Rhapsody was the only one that would be on. Because
it's so long.
Yeah, because it was so long to be on VH1 or MTV and or be on the radio, which was great, because
Right.
Queen's incredible.
That might be one of the biggest examples of a resurgence happening from a movie, or
Yes.
because with the Wayne's World,
Yeah,
it was like
true. It was 20 years after they were, they were still
Yeah.
recording up until like 4 years before that. But that song was 20 years old. It's kind of the Kate Bush thing in a
right.
way. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. That's a really good point. Yeah.
so why do you hate Alice in Chains? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, they're fine. I just don't like.
Didn't resonate with you.
Yeah, it didn't. Yeah, like no excuse. It's a fine song, I guess. Wood's all right. Like maybe I could listen to some more, but just doesn't grab me. Same with Soundgarden. Although, like I said, like the more I hear of them, like yeah, okay, I could see that one. I like that. Same with
I actually,
Stone Temple Pilots.
I always say I'm more of a Chris Cornell fan than a Soundgarden fan.
Yeah, I'd say I'm less.
Yeah.
The more I hear of his solo stuff, I'm like, yeah, I think he made the right choice at the end there. That was because I hate Guns N' Roses, but I love "You Could Be Mine" from the Terminator 2 soundtrack.
Okay,
that's one of the best songs ever written.
Yeah.
But you know, like otherwise, I don't care for them.
Yeah.
So Patience, terrible song, and then hearing him do it, it's like this
Okay.
is. This is even worse.
It's a really.
How did he do
I
that?
don't understand because he did
Like covering an Eagles song.
I don't understand why that song is his cover of that is like so overproduced.
So overproduced. So much delay.
It's so weird. No, do
yeah.
it acoustic. I want to hear like because he has an acoustic album out. It was like one of I don't know. I think it was a bunch of live shows. And it was a songbook, and he did a ton of his. Like Soundgarden, Audio Slave, and then his stuff.
Yeah.
Which I love all. I think that was some
Audio
of his
Slave's
best
cool.
songwriting.
Yeah, I agree.
But he has it's called the Songbook album or whatever, and it's a bunch of live acoustic performances of a lot of
nothing compares to you on that?
no.
Or is that just you showed me a video?
I
of
showed
that.
you a video.
That was
That
a
was
great.
cool.
That was
great
a fucking. I
version.
love that cover so much. He also had this song on. There's this album. I love Johnny Cash, and there's this Johnny Cash Words album.
Okay.
And I guess they took a bunch of like poetry and like journals and made songs.
Oh, cool.
A lot of them are just country artists.
Okay, yeah.
So there is one Brad Paisley song that I actually like.
He's cool.
I like his voice. I don't really like his personal music, but
Yeah.
I really liked his
Guitar playing.
the Johnny. Yeah. I really liked the Johnny Cash song that he made. But Chris Cornell has one. It's a song called "You Never Knew My Mind," and it's Chris Cornell singing this. I guess this song. It's like a really fucking good song,
Cool.
and it's simple. It's not really. Like super produced. Same thing with the "Nothing Compares to You." I thought that was like one of the most beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
And
he
it's
was
like
stripped down. That's
him,
what did-
the fucking cello or whatever that was, and then another guitar player. It's like this, do this,
Yeah.
please. And then
Yeah.
I was like excited for that Patience song,
I bet.
and I
then you
didn't.
hear-
I was like, oh my god, what the hell?
Yeah.
Who did this? Like,
Yeah.
this feels like all in post.
yeah.
Like, you just
As
ruined
soon
it.
as that delay starts in the drums, and the first time I heard it, I was like, "What is this crap about to come on?" And then I recognized what it was. I was like, "Oh,
You should try. I mean, do you
man,
like
this is-
acoustic music or like
I can.
singer songwriter
Yeah,
type? He
it
does have a
depends on
couple. Well,
I'll have to
he
check
does
that
have a
out.
pop album. You probably hate that.
Yeah.
Not my favorite, but
I don't know."
in that
you say that.
acoustic album, he sings some of the songs from that like pop album. And I'm like, oh no, the song's good.
Yes, just the way it was done. is
Yeah.
not- yeah.
Like the songwriting and stuff, it's like a really good song, but they
Yeah.
fucking made it crazy.
No, so what's funny is there's this band I'm going to see in England in August, Adebisi Shank, which so they're named after like the Oz show. There was the Adebisi character, I guess had I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but
Yeah.
anyway, that's where the name comes from.
Alrighty.
But they're a really interesting band, 3-piece, kind of electronic. Bass player always wears a hood. Nobody's ever seen his face. Type kind of like the Kneecap, those Irish rappers.
Okay.
Where the
Yeah.
guy who's a teacher in the band always wears a balaclava, so that because he doesn't want anyone to know, that he's in the band.
Yeah.
Even though I think everybody knows who he is. But anyway, they're like they got back together. And but I found out it's funny you bring up the pop stuff because I found out that one of the guys in the band, because they're like it's crazy metal. Techno-ish music, really great, just guitar, bass, drums, but just really crazy, fast, frenetic music. But the one guy has a side project called All Twins, which is just straight up pop music.
Yeah.
And apparently did really well, like had #1 hits in Ireland and
Yeah.
stuff like that. It's just so funny how somebody can do like
Yeah.
kind of like Chris Cornell. Like, how did you? But it
Yeah.
can work. If
And I think it was good, but it was so poppy.
Yeah,
I
just
I
probably-
was like,
yeah,
what
didn't-
the fuck? He was wearing like fishnets in that one
Yeah,
music video. I'm like,
yeah, that's
what
not-
the fuck? I mean, he's hot enough for him, but
right.
Jesus.
Yeah, he's a built dude. Yeah, so
Is there a worse cover? You've heard me bitch about this for years.
Probably. Well, yeah.
What fucking 105.7 band did Sound of Silence?
Disturbed.
Yeah,
Jesus,
You hate that so much.
God.
It's so fun. I
He's
think it's
so,
it's
like,
so funny because
over
people
singing.
loved it so much.
People are like, he sings
That
so
makes it worse,
he sings so good. No.
Nope.
He's over singing the fucking. The song is The Sound of Silence.
Yeah.
Why are you yelling?
Exactly. Yep.
It's an acoustic thing. If anything, he could have like made it even more chill and darker.
Yep.
It was missing the harmonies, which
Yep.
like make that song like.
Yeah, gotta have Garfunkel in the background. Yeah.
But like, yeah, he just oversang it and yelled it, and it was like, it's The Sound of Silence.
Yeah. People are like, oh, it's so powerful. No,
Right.
It sounds like contemporary Christian crap. It's like somehow a
People
metal
like
band.
that.
They do, but somehow they made that like a metal band, and, you know, doing that one of the greatest written songs of all time. Somehow made it into another genre that doesn't fit any of it. A Jewish guy wrote this song. Disturbed has a bunch of satanic reference type stuff or whatever, pentagrams.
I think David Draymond is Jewish though.
Oh, is he?
I think so.
Oh, okay. Who's he? Is he the singer?
Singer,
in the
yeah,
band? Okay. Yeah. So
I
that would
think-
make sense why he can do that ooh-wah thing, because you know all the Hebrew we have to do with the cha.
That's
the
very
chi.
funny.
Yeah, right. Maybe that is it. Maybe that's where he got it from.
Yeah.
You think at his bar mitzvah he sang from the fucking Torah like, fucking like all like over
Shalom
singing.
aloha.
The rabbi's like, calm down, dude. You're over singing.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm down with the Jewishness.
You're not quite a man yet.
Yeah, right. Did you ever hear that David Lee Roth said that's why he got into fronting a band, because of his bar mitzvah?
Really?
Because he had to do all the chanting and singing, and he was like, "That's when I knew like I'm gonna front a band because this is awesome."
sick.
And I liked having the whole room look at me. He's like, "That's what did it for me." Yeah, it's
That's
like,
pretty
oh,
cool.
Yeah, it's crazy that would do it, because you know it used to be like a nerdy thing to do, and then you find
Yeah.
out like these major rock stars are like. I didn't know about David Draymond. That's I mean, I'll give him a little more slack since he's one of the tribe then. But.
You don't have to.
Yeah, there's a lot of Jews I don't like either. You know? There's some that rub me the wrong way. Even locally, there's some Jews I don't like. You know? So I see at synagogue and I'm just like, I don't want to talk to you.
We should wrap up.
I was going to say
we should wrap up with you were going to talk about Avenged Sevenfold.
Oh, I'll tell him after I can tell him after the pod.
But you don't drink at all, do you?
No.
Okay.
Is this sponsored by Jepson's Malort Liquor?
No, this is sponsored. This is sponsored by Malik Stark.
Oh, okay.
He
might
brought this
approve.
for us, and it is one of the foulest tasting things you will ever put in your mouth.
I'm sure.
So I was trying to think if we could do something where like it's like truth or shot, where like you would have to.
Yeah.
I'll take the truth.
Who's your least favorite Jewish person, or you take a shot of the fucking grossest shit you will ever taste?
Well, I'm going to guess Jeffrey Epstein was Jewish, so I'd say him.
Okay, fair
Just
enough.
based on
Safe
name.
answer.
Right,
Yeah. Fair
safest
enough. Okay,
answer.
fair
Yeah,
enough.
yeah.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah,
They know
that guy's a sicko. Yeah.
Fair enough.
I'm guessing ends with Steen. He's probably Jewish. Although in York County, I know so many Steens, Steins.
Yeah.
None of them are Jewish. It's like this is and my
the
rabbi.
Germans.
My former. Yeah, well, and because they probably all converted at one point or what. But my rabbi,
yeah.
I remember one time we met this. Her name was like Debbie Seligson or something like that. And my rabbi said to her, "He's like, oh, it's a very Jewish name," and she got offended by that.
That's hilarious.
And I was like, okay, first off, why are you offended that somebody said it's a Jewish sounding name? Because it is. If
Yeah.
you were Jewish, you would know that is.
And if you hate Jews, you would know that that's a Jewish sounding name.
Exactly. And he said, only in York County would I meet somebody who's offended to hear that their Jewish name sounds Jewish and that they're not Jewish too.
Well, heavy German population.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But they should have. They probably were Jewish, but it's just probably, whatever. So,
There's a lot of people in this northern state fucking rocking the Confederate flag too.
That's true.
So-
Yeah, which is weird. We're above the Mason-Dixon line, and this is where, I never saw it in Maryland when I lived there.
Right.
But
Saw some, but nowhere near as frequent.
well, and even down on the Eastern Shore, I wouldn't see it, which should be more prevalent. I mean, there might have been a few kids, but it was never meant anything. But I've never seen it so much here. It's like this was. Do you know which side of the line?
I love when it's
the Union.
I love when they have both the Confederate flag and the U.S. flag.
Yeah.
on the back of the
It's
truck.
like-
That's beautiful.
Yeah. It's like having the 3-stripe German flag and the Nazi flag. I just want to head to my bets and play both. I will leave you with one thought though, that it's going to our music direction. Maybe we can talk about this if I'm ever on the pod again. I've been making a list lately of bands I hate, but I love the guitar solo in one of their songs.
Okay.
And I'll give you a reference, like Bon Jovi, Living on a Prayer is one where I hate the band, I hate the song, but I love that guitar solo. And Hard to Handle, the Black Crowes cover. Hate the Black Crowes.
With you.
And I love that they didn't play it. Their producer played the solo. He played both solos because their guitar player was off doing heroin or something. He had disappeared.
Nice.
And it turns out that guy's a really awesome guitar player. But a lot of people don't know that he played it, not because Rich Robinson doesn't play guitar. He doesn't play lead because even now he still does the rhythm, which is fine. But I've been compiling a playlist of songs and I'm just gonna take the solos, but I don't want the actual song. So just throwing that out there as
Find
a fun
some kind
game.
of mashup.
Yeah, exactly. Or just solo number 1, solo number 2. Yeah. Don't make me listen to the rest of the song for that. So
Dude, man, they might fit together in some kind of odd
It could, yeah.
ensemble that's actually pretty badass.
It'd probably sound like a Zappa, like that Shut Up and Play Your Guitar, where it's just like little clips of songs, but not actually whole songs.
You can mash up the time signatures or something.
That'd be cool. Yeah, like a DJ.
Yes. Dude, some of those DJs are fucking fantastic at what they do.
They are.
Yeah, my algorithm was giving me for like a minute, like fucking DJs just like going from like Katy Perry to like 50 Cent. I'm like, dude, this guy is fucking
knows
awesome.
how to match it up.
And it's like, oh, what's coming? And you're just like trying to hear the next song, and then they just like just drop it, and it's like, damn,
wouldn't
that's
have seen that coming.
Yeah.
On the other hand, there's like a Friday night at some university in England that they have DJs do stuff, and there's this kids presenter. Well, it's a dog. It's like a stuffed animal hacker. He's really funny. If you've ever seen the we're just ordinary men meme thing, like it's him. I'll have to show it to you guys later. But anyway, he Phil, the guy who does his puppeteering, was behind the DJ booth and hackers doing this stuff. And some DJ was like, oh yeah, taking a job from a DJ. And I just commented like, oh, pressing play. You're upset a puppet press play. Yeah. But they do actually do real stuff.
Well, yeah, when you see some of the ones that are actually good.
Yeah, they're actually mixing stuff. Yeah,
and that's impressive. It is funny sometimes they'll do it and then you're looking, I'm like, oh, this is pre-recorded. This motherfucker, like it was good, but it wasn't in the moment. Yeah. Like, all right, that's less cool.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
But hell yeah.
Did you want to do the Avenged Sevenfold there?
Nah, he was going to say that.
Yeah, I don't think
he's going to talk shit. It's fine.
Fair enough.
That was cool. It was cool. It was just neat to see them, like
it's cool.
15 people at Hershey Park. Yeah. Anything else you want to wrap up with before we?
No, I think we're good. Where can people find you? Do you have anything you want to tell people about? This is going to come up after this weekend. I know you got the shows this weekend, but anything else going on, or where can people find you to find out what you got going on?
I mean, legit bottle loot. I think there's spaces in there. It's on Instagram. If you just type in legit and then space B, it should come up. I think I'm the only legit bottle loot on there. Otherwise, I guess there'll be a Facebook booking page at some point. I did start a YouTube channel, by the way, called Learning by Screwing, and then in parentheses up.
Yeah, nice.
So, and it's just like little tips, and I try to throw a joke in there as well. But like today I talked about cooking, like when you scramble eggs, throwing some olive oil or some avocado oil in there instead of like butter or something. It's just, or like cleaning the jack on a guitar. And then I'll talk about like, it's just like it's basically like if I was going to leave stuff for my son, if I knew I was dying, like what is all the stuff he would need to know. So that's been kind of a fun thing, because I also like talk about jokes sometimes. Like today I broke down a joke that I did and like where it came from. But like I try to keep them under 5 minutes, so that's fun. But Church of Satire in general, like I'm usually there doing stuff. So if people want to ever check that out. We didn't really talk about much comedy otherwise. Which was fine.
I finally came to Church Satire.
That's right, you did.
That was pretty sick. Really cool.
Everybody was really glad you came. It's just like when you came. Like, hopefully, it's a shame that they're on the same night.
Yeah.
Although they do like a Friday and Saturday night open mic sometimes. But
I have to keep my eye out for one of those.
You should. Yeah. I've never done those, but it's apparently a good time. And Jim, the owner, is a really great guy. Dave and Macy and Pat, he's not there as much as often, but it's just a great group of people. I mean, POV's great too, but Church of Satire is just they've been very supportive of me. It's a cool clubhouse to hang out. So I'm doing these shows with Lon this weekend. Lon Kiefer is like a clean-ish comic. So that's the cool thing for me, is like I can be on the dirty shows or the clean shows,
right.
and like, because Jim will just, like, and that's nothing against anybody else. Just Jim will be like, I know I can trust you to not drop an F word, whatever. Not be like,
I don't know if I could do that.
I mean, like we were talking
depending
about
on
I think
depending on the length of the set.
Yeah.
5, 7, cool.
Yeah.
10, 15, you're getting into my shit.
I was
That's
gonna say,
not going to be cool.
I can do 10. I could probably.
I don't know.
I could. I just have to cut shit.
It depends on what the definition of clean is.
Well, and that's the thing, because Lon does some sexual stuff. So it's like, I could have done some of that stuff. Like, I don't do a lot of that, but like, like references to things. But definitely not like, they don't want an assault on the, whatever. Like,
sure.
Some of the bigger words and stuff like that are more sexual, like super obvious sexual things like that. So, which is fine, because there's not really a lot of that that's funny to me anyway. So, at least when I think of it. So if they ever see Lon Kiefer, usually I'm the opener for him. So that's a good one.
Nice.
And he's cool. He does like healthcare stuff, but he on the side does comedy as well. He used to be a comedian, and I guess this is the best places to find me, or just at the grocery store, like Mitch Hedberg would say. You've seen this next guy at the store. That's about where you're going to find me, at the grocery outlet, or
grocery alley,
or Sam's Club, maybe Wise once in a while. So gas station probably, but otherwise, cool. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Well, thank you.
Cool.
for
It's
coming-
a fun time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Thanks
thank
for
you.
coming back on,
Yeah.
and I'll definitely have you back on at some point.
Appreciate before I move in June. Yeah.
for sure.
'cause-
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because otherwise we'll have to do one of those Zoom podcasts
Yeah,
when
those
I move.
always suck.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're never fun. Like,
We'll just travel to England and do one in a hotel room.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true,
Don't
'cause-
forget us when you move on to bigger and
oh,
better
I
things.
won't. Yes, yeah. If I get my show started there, I can definitely have you guys on the show. So yeah. That is like. Do you guys ever listen to Modern Wisdom? Like, I know we got to wrap it up, but like, you ever listen to Modern Wisdom?
I don't think so.
So Chris Williamson, great podcast. It's kind of a.
Oh wait. Okay. Yeah.
You were
guy who's like on
telling
Love
me about him.
I was
the
telling
other
you,
day.
yeah, he was on Love Island. He lives down in Austin. Kind of a more thoughtful version of Joe Rogan.
Okay.
Definitely more like on relationship stuff, love.
I've seen
mental
clips,
health.
I believe,
Have you?
yes.
Okay, yeah. He's excellent. But what I like is that. Or what I don't like about his podcast is he'll just go into a commercial. And I kept thinking about this as we were talking. I wanted like one of you to just start like Liquid Death is an awesome drink whenever I'm parched because like I don't watch it. I'm just listening. So I'm like, he'll be like, when I travel, what does this have to do with what this girl was
Why did the tone of his voice change?
Exactly.
Some people do that. Mark Maron does that. Which I don't know if you guys know. WTF is ending.
No, didn't know that.
After 16 years,
I should start listening to it.
He's finishing up in the fall. I will, depending on the guest.
Yeah. I was
but,
gonna say it's right. Yeah.
But yeah, Tim Dillon does that too.
Okay.
Like he'll be saying the wildest shit, and then
Yeah,
just
yeah.
do like a fucking mattress commercial.
Yeah, right.
What the fuck just
And
happened?
it is like edited
And
in, but
if you're watching, you would know. But
yes.
No,
'Cause
like,
you see-
yeah, I'm listening. I'm like,
Yeah, because the shirt, their shirt will change or something. Oh, but like if you're listening, you're like, what is going on? And then this is an ad. Oh God, I hate you guys. So I just kept waiting for that. Like you're gonna go to Liquid Death, or I was like, what's up with the Jeffersons?
He's like screaming about Gaza. It's like Satva mattresses.
Yeah, because even Rogan kind of does that too with his, and it's just like
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
catch that was coming. Like,
Yeah.
it'd be nice if there was a ding. Because
Well, those are because it's on like the Spotify thing. I think they just like
they kind of wedge them in
Yeah.
where they want.
Yeah.
Because like when I listen to Off Menu, the British one, like it's other people. There's a ding and it's other people. It's not them.
Oh, that's funny.
When they do
Yeah,
their
yeah.
ads, they're only at the beginning or the end of the show, and so it's not as disconcerting. It's like, all right, I know to skip, but they trick
yeah, it's
you
more
into
like a
this.
YouTube ad where
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
alrighty. Well, we know nothing about ads yet on this podcast.
So like and
We'll get
subscribe
there.
or all that stuff.
somebody's going to sponsor this eventually.
Yeah.
Noel's Rock Shop could, but we're done.
Yes, thank you for coming. Anybody got anything else?
Nope.
We'll see y'all next Thursday.
Take it easy.